And now to give the command today, the most famous words in all of motorsports, our Grand Marshal representing John Deere, Kerry Keeler.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And up top of Plymouth.
As those engines come to life at this little track, I think everybody's heartbeat goes up at least 10 per minute.
Yeah, well, when those planes just flew by, mine did. I know that. How about it, Burns?
Hey, DW, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has 15 cars in his stable to choose from. This race car races at Martinsville and nowhere else. In fact, they tested here and ran over 600 laps. He's never finished better than 11th here, but today he starts third. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, one driver to watch today could be the most recent Martinsville winner, and that's Ricky Craven. He brought back the same race car that dominated here last fall, but he has a different setup. After testing here a few weeks ago, they ran over 500 laps in test, and they hit upon a different kind of setup. So they brought that here. The weather conditions are very similar to their testing weather conditions. They're very optimistic, and they were smiling in the garage area this morning. To Dick Bergeron.
In this morning's drivers' meeting, nothing was said about Kevin Harvick or the fact that he is parked for today's event. They did, however, talk a great deal about pit road manners. David Hoots reminded the drivers that they had a responsibility to take care of other crew members. This is a very narrow pit road. Especially important, he said, was pick up all the tires when you finish a pit stop. Only the right rear can be out of the box. Pit road here, very tight. Could spell the difference between victory and losing for several drivers. Mike Joy?
Thank you, Dick. If you joined us late, Kenny Wallace is behind the wheel of car number 29. Kevin Harvick was parked during yesterday's truck race for aggressive driving, and unlike a suspension, which would be appealable and let him run that car today, being parked by NASCAR is not subject to appeal. So until Mike Helton and the other NASCAR officials make a further ruling, Harvick is out of the car. Kenny Wallace is in it.
See that best finish of fourth in the fall of 1994? That was substituting for Ernie Irvan in the 28 car while he was recuperating from energies.
And in my memory of the number of years I've been in this sport, it's only the second time that I can recall that there's ever been a suspension of a driver. D.K. Aldridge a few years ago was in my era.
Kenny Wallace was introduced this morning as today's driver of the 29.
It's good seeing you, buddy. See you. I feel strange right now. I need to get inside the race car, you know.
He got a nice response from the crowd. We are told that Kevin Harvick is not at the racetrack today. Here's car owner Richard Childress with his new substitute driver. Here's how he will line up in the rest of the field on our Castrol starting grid. Jeff Gordon got his second Martinsville pole, 41st career pole position, and Bobby Hamilton makes his third front row start at this speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a great first lap but spun on his second. And Terry Labonte, his best start here since 1989.
Jeff Gordon, this is DW up in the TV tower. You got a copy, bud?
Look real pretty right there.
Jeff, this is DW in the TV tower. You got a copy?
Robbie, will that neon bar on the outside pit wall, will that give you enough time to see Jeff coming on pit road? Pick him up a little bit before that, about where that Mayfield pit is, that 19, I think it is. See what I'm talking about, right before the 28 ground?
We have the right frequency for Jeff Gordon, but there's a feature they build into these radios called Private Line, which, unless you have the right code, won't allow your transmission to go through.
Well, let me just say as a driver, the last thing I want to do on a little track like this with just a couple laps to get things ready to go is talk to somebody at a TV tower. That's a courtesy they pay us. It's certainly not expected of them to respond, even if they could, but I think we're having a problem with our radio today. That's twice we've tried, and we'll have to work on that. See if we get a hold of somebody later.
Of course, he's trying to get his pit road speed reading off of his tack, what the RPMs are for that 35 miles an hour, just trying to make sure they got everything down pat here before we go racing.
Yeah, we only got 3 laps, so I mean, you're around here real quick, and you want to get some heat in the tires. The tires are really hard to hook up first couple of laps, so they've got a lot on their mind, and talking to DW in the TV tower may not be one of his priorities right now.
Only one car went home, and that was Randy Renfroe in in a Dodge. It was the only car that failed to qualify. Our Dr. Scholl's race analysis, 43 cars, 500 laps here at the Martinsville Speedway. That'll be 263 miles around this pretty much half-mile racetrack. They can go 90 to 95 laps, Larry.
Well, actually, they can go a lot further than that. It's about 150 to 160 laps. But one thing that we see, the air temperature is 79 degrees, track temperature is 95, a lot warmer than anybody had yesterday in practice.
Yeah,
Sun's out today.
And the thing about that, Larry, is it's harder on the driver. It's also harder on the cars. You run in these tight confinements here, bumper to bumper, the way they do. You bend that grill in a little bit, that water temperature goes up, brake ducts closed off, you're out of here.
That's our analysis. Dr. Scholl's, look, feel, do better.
Now, one we need to make is the 29 car with him sitting on the backstretch right now. Not only do they have a new driver in that car, since it is a driver change, they qualified 7th. They have to start at the rear of the field per NASCAR rule because of a driver change. And you know what, DW? When Jeff Gordon takes the green flag at the start-finish line, the 29 car is going to be somewhere over on the backstretch.
But if I was Kenny Wallace, I wouldn't be disappointed in that because he hadn't even been in this car. He's going to need a few laps just to get up to speed. You can't just jump in there and come right up to race speed. It's going to take a few laps of practice.
You on in cars? We've got in cars. We got lots of in cars. We got suspension cams and brake cams and all sorts of fun to have here today. Bobby Hamilton has a brake cam and Rusty Wallace suspension cam, and add to that mix Elliott Sadler. In the Wood Brothers car, you'll go all access with him on Fox Sports Net tonight.
Now, Mike and Larry, by popular demand, here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
These cars be fighting for the bottom of that racetrack. Fast way around, lots of grip right around that yellow curve. Bobby Hamilton tries to outbrake Jeff Gordon getting into turn 3, but the grip's down there at the bottom.
Well, so many times, if you can get up on that outside, everybody's trying to get to the bottom. And you can make some passes back in the field, particularly if your car's hooking up pretty good on the outside.
Like Bobby Hamilton's trying to do for the lead off turn 2.
He's got it. You saw Jeff Gordon in 24 get a little bit sideways when he put the throttle down, and that's going to be the big thing about this weather change. This racetrack is real slick, getting forward bite. The rear wheels will not hook up when you accelerate off the corner.
For Jeff Gordon, mission accomplished. He's led this race, 5 bonus points. Now he can settle in for what they hope is a long run. First lap Bobby Hamilton has led since Talladega last October.
Well, there's just so much you got to do here. You got a really low gear with 800 horsepower, and like Larry said, hooking that all up is going to be the key. And see, everybody's fighting, and watch that 14 car. I'm watching him particularly. They're all fighting for the bottom, and he has made a bunch of passes on the outside. That won't be the way to go later on, but right now with them bobbling up around the bottom, that was the way to go, and he made the move way up. There goes Ricky Craven up on the outside.
Ricky Craven's car, we heard Matt Yoakum report, different setup, the same race car. That car worked pretty good up that second route when he won the race here last fall.
Kurt Busch got a little high right there entering turn number 1, late entry, and squirreled it up and now finds himself at odds with Mike Skinner. Kansas grill is pushed in from the back bumper of Dave Blaney.
Yeah, that's one of the problems of starting mid-pack, is you know you're going to get a little damage, and that you can't take a lot of damage on these front ends here and keep everything cool.
Ricky Craven running hard on the outside. He passed Ricky Rudd. Now he goes after Robbie Gordon.
He's really getting into turn 3. I mean, he is flying down in there.
And normally you'll pay a price in the center of the corner for doing that, but his car really turned through the middle and hooked up off the corner.
Daryl, you have to use up a lot of brake, though, going into the corner that hard.
It's okay early. Do what you got to do early. Get yourself in position, and then ride. Don't worry about it right now. Just use it up.
Well, Craven fought to get by that pack. Now he's in clean traffic. This is when Mike Bean, his crew chief, would say, okay, settle down, float that thing in the corner, stay off the brakes. Give him a little work, give him a little help here.
He's just trying to clear some of that traffic, get himself up near the front. You'll be fine.
Elliott and Spencer, the two Dodges side by side.
It's a battle for 7th.
Got the race for the lead here. Going back to the front is Jeff Gordon. I noticed his car in practice. It was a little slow in the get-go, but it really is consistent. Jeff Gordon I'm talking about.
And that's a product normally of low air pressure. They will lower the air pressure in these tires down to about 10 pounds on the left side. They'll almost look flat, and around 19 or 20 on the right side, because over a long run here, it will gain so much air pressure from the heat, the tires will start feeling like basketballs bouncing.
You got brake heat. Brake heat is a big factor on the front tires. wants to chatter a little bit, creates a lot of tire pressure.
Andy Hillenberg, who was here with the Dave Marcus car pretty much as a field filler, goes to the garage.
Right now, the leaders, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Hamilton in the 55, they're about a straightaway behind the back of the field. But when they catch that back of that field lap traffic, that's when it really gets exciting.
Unlike maybe Bristol or some other racetracks where the spotter or the crew chief can tell you to pick it up, you really are just pretty much stuck. There's nowhere you can go because you can't just pull out and pass that wheel.
I'll tell you a car that's working good, up high, down low, right around the curve. Ricky Craven in the 32 goes by Ryan Newman in the 12 car. Of course, this is Ryan Newman's very first start of any kind here at Martinsville.
The 32 car looks mighty stout.
Riding with Earnhardt Jr. in third place behind Jeff Gordon and Bobby Hamilton.
And Larry, I know we've talked about Ricky Craven, the 32 car, Kyle Wells. Those guys have accomplished a lot in a fairly short period of time. They build their own chassis. They do a lot of in-house stuff. They should be very proud of the success they've had early on.
Already built their own chassis just in their third year of racing with success.
Now, Tony Stewart caught a little bit of a curve. You saw that car bounce last time by.
He went airborne. He jumped the cushion is probably the way he'd explain it.
Boy, listen to the RPMs, that two-car Rusty Wallace. You talk about it, they're low gears, like 643, 650s. I mean, that's as low as we pull anywhere. About 9,000, 9,100 in the straightaways. But it's not RPMs that necessarily hurts the motor because it just goes up there and spikes and don't stay there.
Yeah, it's not sustained RPM. It's just up and down, and that's okay.
But it does it 1,000 times a race.
It gets a breather in there, though. It goes up to 92, back down to 6,000, so it gets a breather.
For 1,000 times a day. 500 laps. Twice each lap. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon's our leader. Bobby Hamilton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte, and Rusty Wallace are the front five at Martinsville. Welcome back to Martinsville at 22 laps, one change among the top five. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has passed Bobby Hamilton for second place. Let's have a look at it.
Looks like he gets a nose under him coming down the straightaway here, and I think Bobby lets him go because he saw that Dale was a little quicker than he was. And by the same token, Dale has driven off and left him, so that was a good move on Bobby Hamilton's part.
The worst thing you can do here is run side by side.
Oh, yeah, and Schrader's got a flat tire. Schrader's wobbling around here.
Now,
left rear.
The only entrance to pit road is at turn 2. Schrader trying to get low. He can't get down. Can't get inside, so he cannot pit.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
I'm sorry, turn 3. The exit is at turn 2.
He's going to lose a lot of time. He'll go in pit road right here, 35 miles an hour.
He's going to lose a lot of air. He's going to lose time, sheet metal. That's going to be a bad break.
The only thing that saved him is his pit box was real near the entrance of pit road, so that kept him from having to go all the way down pit road.
You know, we've run 25 laps. Pretty clean so far. Nobody beating on anybody yet. But that's because, here we go, got a caution, probably some debris off the Schrader's car, I'd say.
Now, since they went to one, they used to pit on both sides of this racetrack, front and back stretch. There is the debris on the speedway.
Yeah, that's the panels and all. I think it beat out probably crushed panels out of Schrader's car. What I was going to say was that we haven't had much action so far, Mike, because every crew chief spotter's telling everybody to take care of your car. Don't beat the nose in and don't use up your brakes. Ooh, he's on fire up under there.
The left rear is aflame.
That's probably brake ducts and stuff.
And if we were at most racetracks, 26 laps, pit road would be crowded, but you can about trust me, those leaders up front, they will not dare give up track position.
This is not a good, that's his brake hoses is on fire, and he needs to get that put out. That's right back there by the fuel cell.
All right, left rear is on fire. You're going to have to run around here and get a hose. That left rear is on fire.
He went 3 laps down through all that. That just shows you how fast they're moving around this place. We have a few guys at the back of the field that's pitted, but everybody up front stayed out.
Come on.
Trying to get Schrader to a fire extinguisher.
Boy, he needs to, too. That's all right around the rear, the fuel cell back there.
Right in here, let's take it out. In there, don't run over.
He's melting the M&Ms right off the side of that thing.
Straight in. All right, fire extinguisher out now. Fire extinguisher out.
Hope it stops. It does.
Okay, now. Okay, let's go.
Put it out. Oh, they didn't put it out.
They didn't either.
Oh, jeez. Tough day for Kenny Schrader. the way things go here at Martinsville. That M is Charbroil. That's Kenny Schrader's car, and they've got it on a jack stand on pit road with mechanics working underneath it.
That's a shadow of Schrader right there.
Let's first show you. This was the initial contact between, well, not that one, this one, between Kyle Petty and Kenny Schrader. Right there, it took about 4 or 5 laps for that tire to finally deflate.
There it goes.
And then when it went down,
there it goes.
Kenny had to come all the way around before he could get onto pit road, and damage resulted.
And these tires do not run an inner liner because it's a short track, and Dick Berggren can tell us a little more. Can you spell mess? That's what Schrader's got right now. He is having a really tough time breathing inside the car because so much fire extinguisher material has been used here. And this tire, that's what it is. It's a tire that's all wrapped around the rear end housing, continues to smolder and burn. So Schrader keeps adjusting his face mask. He keeps working on his air hose to try to get clean, fresh air. To Matt.
Well, Dick, we were talking earlier about gear choices, and Larry, I spoke with Mike Beam this morning. They went a little more conservative. They went with the same gear they had last year. They went with a 633. And how they came up with that decision, Roy McCulley, the chief engineer, Mike Beam, and Ricky Craven all took a pen and wrote in their hands what gear they thought they should run. They opened their hands. 33 was the choice.
This restart, a bad break for Steve Park and Frank Kimmel. They were judged not to have beaten the caution paddle, but they couldn't come around to line up next to the lead car on that final pace lap before we went green.
Now, having been down there for the last couple of days, here's what I've learned. A lot of these guys are pulling the 33 gear, but they also have overdrive or underdrive in this case, where they can switch into a different gear, third gear, and they will have a 650 gear. So you have the option to run the 33 at times, shift into third gear, run a 50.
All right, I want to see Terry Labonte lead a lap. I think all America wants to see Terry Labonte lead a lap. It's been more than a year since he's done so. He qualified well, trying to pass Rusty Wallace here on the outside.
Has a brand new race car here. They've been running brand new race cars about every week.
Tough sledding, though, Darrell, on the outside.
The reason that they've been running new cars is because Terry told me that he felt like in the last year or two, we got bottleneck over here off the turn 2.
Yeah.
Cars are...
Jimmy Johnson was in trouble, and everybody ran up into him.
It's ignition. His ignition failed. He's switching boxes, and here he goes again.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, Rusty, turn 1! Rusty slid way up the racetrack and almost didn't get back down.
Ricky Craven was coming right through there, almost coming right down into the 32 car Ricky Craven.
I don't know what happened to Rusty. If he had contact with Tony Stewart or if he just went in too deep, but that had concrete written all over it for a while there. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, Tony gets a run on him, and Tony thinks he's going to give him some room, and it just didn't happen.
And it didn't look like Rusty knew he was there either.
Probably knew he was there, but probably wasn't going to give him any room.
Went off that good run at Texas last week. Good top 10 finish. And just real quickly to update you, under that caution, that pretty much what happened is what we anticipated. Every car from about 26th place back pitted. That's how Frank Kimmel and Steve Park got trapped in the pits by the pace car. Now, they're already on different agendas from the leaders. Darrell, what those guys want is this race to go about 30 or 40 laps. Another caution, they'll stay out because the leaders have to pit. We're going to see that all day long. People on different pit strategies and different pitting agendas.
Ricky Craven, there is the separation to race leader Jeff Gordon, 3.3 seconds pretty much.
You know, Dale, just to go back to that gear deal just for a second, yeah, people will put like a 33 gear in, and your third, that's for 1-to-1 in fourth gear. Then your third gear is like maybe a 118. Well, what happens when that car on fresh tires, you can stand that lower gear because the rear wheels will hook up. But once it starts sliding around, then you go to the higher gear, and it'll hit the rear tires.
Well, you're right, Larry. And Dale Jr. just drove off in the corner there, and he almost ran the back of Bobby Hamilton, and he locked it up and slid way up the hill. But that is really good thinking, and I would have never thought about that coming here with that gear selection that way. Gives you the best of both worlds.
The only thing you have to be careful when you're in third gear and not 1-to-1, a lot of heat is being generated. Not as much maybe in the transmissions that we have now. Here we go, Ricky Craven in that 32 car. This is a battle with Terry Labonte. This is a battle for 8.
And if you watch Craven's car, how it accelerates up off the corner, he's in that 650 gear mode right now. When he gets in clear sailing, he'll pull it back into the 633 gear mode and cruise. See if we can see what happened to Dale Jr. down here. It looked like he was coming in here too hot, and he locked up the brakes, and yeah.
Bobby Hamilton in the 55 gets by.
Jeff Gordon with Bobby Hamilton now in second, about 1 second back. Brothers.
The leaders are coming. That's why. Everybody's getting a little impatient. The leaders are coming. Got to get out of my way. I got to go.
Oh, it's the Hatfields and McCoys, Darrell. It's the Burton brothers side by side, and it's the Sadler brothers that end up.
There you see the leader, Jeff Gordon, in 24. That's how close he was to that pack.
The spotter and the crew chief don't realize what the pressure they put on that driver when they tell him he's got to go.
Well, Elliott Sadler's car wasn't working all that well. The back end started to come around, and when he saved it, he was aimed at the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff Burton was already headed for that hole.
That half a hole.
Yeah, right.
It was a half a hole.
That's all it was.
This is one of those places where if you crack the door open a little bit, somebody will knock it down.
And here's Jimmy Johnson among the drivers who are pitting. Dick Berggren.
Well, Jimmy Johnson started in 14th position, dropped all the way back to 33rd. The problem, an ignition box failure. He has changed to the second ignition box. Car is better. He's taken 2, and he's out of here. To Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, it does not look like Jeff Gordon is going to pit. He just radioed crew chief Robbie Loomis and said car is a little bit tight in the middle, but getting better, and he has a little bit of wheel spin coming off the corners.
You know, in the truck race and in the Stacy's Cup car, that patch down there where they put the tunnel in, the walk-through tunnel, as the race went on in the truck, every time I'd get on that concrete and touch the gas, it'd want to spin the tires. So there's this patch right here is they put a tunnel in right here, a walk-through tunnel, and that patch right there, when you hit the throttle, it makes the tires want to spin.
You can see it's not near as black as other concrete, not as much rubber on that. That other concrete has had rubber going down for a long period of time.
All right, it's time. Do I hear the music? I don't hear the music. But it is Pep Boys trivia time. Who's the only driver to win a Winston Cup race at Martinsville with a pass on the last lap?
Oh, well, I believe it was my man DW.
Yeah, do you remember?
All right,
I was running third.
Yeah, he was third. Who was ahead of him on that last lap?
Now, you didn't ask that question.
I'm not on the board.
One question for Pep.
Well, this one was easy.
Since I know.
Yeah, you were there.
Dale was leading. Terry Labonte was running second, and I was running third. I bumped into the back of Terry Labonte, shot him into the back of Dale. They both spun. Only lap I led was from turn 4 to the start-finish line.
I was going to say, not only on the last lap, last corner of the last lap.
That's incredible.
That's why they keep building seats here. Days like that. Steve?
Mike, Ricky Rudd is listed in the 10th position right now, but he's telling his crew chief, Michael McSwain, that he thinks he's a 10th better than the leaders. He has 45 Winston Cup starts here, and he said he's going to save his car and, more specifically, his brakes for late in the race.
Getting set for the restart, the leaders did not pit. Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Hamilton, Stewart, Craven, who's come all the way up to 5th place. As we watch the speed build from Jeff Gordon.
Pace car brought him down to 40 miles per hour. We see it going to start-finish line. Right at 100 miles an hour, 102 miles an hour. Roll out the throttle early. Down the mid-50s. Middle 22. Now they're getting up to speed. About 114 miles an hour against the backstretch.
There's the trouble with pitting when you're in the back of the pack. When you take the restart green flag, you're a half a lap down.
Yeah, they're single file for the most part. That's the reason he did 50-something laps. The leaders, he let them to stay out. The guys at the back keep pitting, hoping we'll have a long enough run. The leaders will have to pit, then they can get the track position.
One thing that I noticed was difficult is on this particular tire at this racetrack, it takes 2 or 3 laps for them to really get the traction that you're looking for. You need the whole racetrack to move around to get the tires in and working in and get going.
Goodyear brings a great tire here. It really suits his racetrack, and it don't wear out. Opening to run 100 laps or so, it'll start losing a little grip. Like we said in the opening, track position over fresh tire.
Tony Stewart with a run on Bobby Hamilton.
And you see what Bobby does? Bobby is looking in the mirror. He sees Tony's there. He goes up the racetrack. He knows he does not want to cut down in front of Tony and take a chance on getting wrecked right now. But look who's right behind those guys. I mean, he's working high, low, just like we said, Larry, and he is coming to the front. He's getting in the corner. I mean, he really flies down into the corner.
Matt?
Well, Mike, Ricky Craven in the 32 car is trying to fill up. As you can see, he closes into the 20, trying to fill that rearview mirror of Tony Stewart. Now, Ricky reported in under that caution that his car is a little bit tight in the center of the corner. They're talking about maybe an air pressure adjustment on their pit stop. He started 18th, now up to 5th. But one thing he did say, if he runs the line that he wants to, the car gets even tighter. So he's had to adjust his line to how the car is reacting.
Jimmy Johnson's crew has just told him to watch his shifts. When he changed the ignition box, they lost the rev limiter. So he's got to be very careful that he doesn't over-rev the engine, shifting the car from here on.
And what they're talking about, these cars have two ignition systems in them. One has the rev limiter in it. One will have a chip in the rev. It's about a 9200, I would imagine, 9200 RPM. When you go to the other ignition, they don't have a rev limiter in that ignition. That's for the end of the day. When you want to maximize everything you can, you switch to the other ignition, get rid of the rev limiter. But now he's that way all the way to the end.
Just look how far the RPMs fall down. 48, 4900. It's down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. All the way like we talked about, 9,000 in the backstretch. There you see he's about 14 seconds behind leader Jeff Gordon and losing. That's 2/3 of a lap.
And the engine has to make that pull 1,000 times to get through this day.
Well, just on that restart, they came off the corner 4 down at turn 4 at 40 miles an hour, and they were over 100 miles an hour when they got to the first turn. That was on a restart. That's how quick you accelerate.
Let's go back to 18th place, where Jeremy Mayfield is working on Robbie Gordon.
This is the car that Casey Atwood, who drove the 19 last year, actually set on the pole with at Phoenix. They didn't come and test here. They went to another short track, Greenville, South Carolina, and tested like a lot of teams did, just trying to work on their short track program without burning one of the 7 NASCAR teams.
But you know something I also learned, Larry, the last couple of weeks is Caraway. The little racetrack where we took the truck. A lot of teams are finding out Greenville's a great place to go test. It's nice and flat. But Caraway has a lot sharper turns. You get your car or your truck to turn at that racetrack, it seems to work. But here, in the sector who won the truck race yesterday, tested for 2 days at Caraway before they came here.
Teams are allowed to test at non-Winston Cup tracks as much as they want. It's only 7 times a year at tracks where Winston Cup Series actually races.
I tell you, Larry and Mike, y'all have to help me here. I got information overload. I've been down in the pits for 2 days, and I found out more things that the guys are doing and not doing than I ever have.
Now, as we're with Dale Jarrett, as we first took that shot, you heard him ask the 90 spotter if he'll give me some room. And it backs up what Larry said at the top of the show. It's easy to catch somebody here. Boy, it's hard to pass them.
They're running the bottom. You see Rick Bass in the 90 car right around the bottom. Dale Jarrett keeps searching around. He just can't get by. This is the same car that Dale Jarrett run both races with last year and actually won a year ago with. How about this guy right here, though, that won the fall race? Ricky Craven in that 32. He goes by Tony Stewart. That's a battle for 4th place.
OTIDE looks pretty good today, boys. As always, that car has, whatever, who's driving TIDE, they win it, Mark.
You've won, Ricky runs one, Ricky Craven's one. 71 of 500 laps are complete. Settle in for a long haul here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon is our leader. Your top 3 and where they are in the pits. Bobby Hamilton is out of the pits, taking on only 2 tires, while most of the rest of the lead lap cars get 4.
But again, pit position. We talk about track position, but here pit position, he took 2. He's out ahead of Jeff Gordon, who took 4. So Jeff's got a big advantage.
I talked to Charlie Presley, his crew chief, this morning. He said, Larry, I don't plan on changing left side tires maybe over about twice during this race. He said, I want to give that track position. But if your car is tight, not turning, you have to be careful with 2 tires. It'll make it even a little tighter, so you got to make an adjustment with those 2 tires.
All right, let's show you why we're under caution. Happened down at turn 1.
Now, the 4 car right here, look, he's heavy on brakes. See how his nose is down against the racetrack? And here's Kenny Wallace way out here going wide into turn 1. Look what happens. They come together right there. So I wouldn't be mad at Mike Skinner. Kenny Wallace was probably laying out thinking that Mike was going to dive under him. They just come together.
From Matt Kenseth's view.
Keep coming. Good. Clear all around. Clear all around. Still green.
Kenny Wallace.
Here, hold the brake. Hold the brake. Here, come on. Brake. Hold the brake. Hold the brake.
So Wallace lost a lap because the leaders were closing in when that happened.
Let me tell you somebody else that lost a lap that had been in the top 10. There you see Jimmy Spencer, the 41. He did not make the paddle man over there, the stop and go. Jeff Hammond, lots of trouble for Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can't see his pit from where I am right now, Larry, but he came around and he was trying everything in the world to get out and beat that pace car out. And that NASCAR's sign guy just about got ran over trying to hold him.
Darrell, it sounds like that's where you take the speeding penalty in order to avoid being held at the exit of the pits because the pace car was going past and be a lap down.
Well, that would be wise on the spotter's part to tell him to go on and take the penalty.
Might have been trying to do just that, Steve.
Mike, Jeff Gordon tells Robbie Loomis the car just keeps getting better and better. They changed 4 tires, no other adjustments on that 24. Matt Yocum.
Steve, the 32 car took on 4 tires, no adjustments. Remember, we told you the car was just a tick tight, but they chose to leave it alone to Dick Berggren.
Kurt Busch, who bounced his car off happy hour yesterday afternoon, came in and took 4 tires, a little wedge adjustment to the back end. The car was a little bit loose in. They also adjusted the air pressure. He came in as good as 12, came out in 18th spot. He's running very well today. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. 79 laps complete. Only Andy Hillenberg in the garage area, though Casey Atkins' car is off the track and under repair. Kenny Schrader's back on the speedway, and we're getting set to go with this restart. Hermie Sadler alongside as we get set for the restart. Let's crank it up. Pinpointed for you in the middle of the pack, Jerry Nadeau, Jeff Burton, and John Andretti.
And how that happened, Jerry Nadeau and Jeff Burton, they pitted back on the first caution at lap 25. John Andretti in third, he pitted on the next caution at lap 52. Again, different agendas. We're going to see that all day long, Dino.
First time that Nadeau has ever led a stick run short track race. Rusty Wallace had a tough spot. He's back in 21st.
I think the guy that's impressing me is Hermie Sadler. He got spun out down here, but let me tell you, that little guy, he was 7th quick in happy hour yesterday. He just passed Steve Hart. He's pulling away from these guys to be back on the lead lap.
Right now, he's on the lead lap. He's just at the tail end of the lead lap. He needs that caution flag victory.
On the back of that car are 200 million reasons why. They were lined up at the convenience stores here in Martinsville last night, which is just across the border from North Carolina, that doesn't participate in that particular the drawing. Next drawing is Monday.
Getting intense right up here in the front. Hey, you know what I like about short track racing? Everybody's intention. You start out with the best of intentions. You got a game plan, but the first thing you know, the heat's turned up. People start hitting you, banging around on you a little bit. You forget your agenda.
Here's the guys that was leading the race before that caution. Jeff Gordon in the 24, Tony Stewart in the 20, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8. But they're stuck back there right now because the cars didn't hit 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Gordon's just going to kind of move up on the outside, I think, and let get a little heat off that back bumper.
Darrell, he's going to run up against some traffic ahead that's a little slower. Might not be able to get down to the bottom.
He may not be, but
first car that pitted on the last caution. He's pulling up on John Andretti in the 43 car, remember, that stayed out that last time.
And the car looks good, Larry. I mean, he's getting good forward bite. He's cutting through the center pretty good. Those two tires are working for him right now.
And you better believe those other 42 crew chiefs are paying close attention to what those two tires are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got the watches on him. They're watching what he does, and they'll be mirroring that later on.
While everybody else is running side by side, Bobby Hamilton's in the rocking chair. He's not part of this kind of battle right here.
That's so good here. You don't want anybody in front of you, anybody behind you. You get the good clarity of brakes, and ain't nobody beating you back from the road.
Here, car 9 is Jerry Nadeau. He is our leader. Jeff Burton in second. Again, out of sequence pitting. And here's Crane and Gordon.
Yeah. Crane would come off turn 2 over. He got sideways and allowed Jeff to get back up under him. Here he goes. I tell you, Gordon's car just gets wet in the long run. Looks like that low air. He's set up, he's kind of set up for the long run.
But Strickland in the 23 car there, driver for Bill Davis, he's on the lead lap off the pit sequence as well.
In 10th place. These guys are fighting way back in the pack.
He can't hold the bottom of the racetrack. And I'm sure Gordon Spotter on field relaying that to Jeff. Stay on that inside because Strickland can't hold the bottom. There goes Gordon.
Yeah, look at Spotter saying, your line, stay inside, that line's moving. Go outside, that line's moving. So the spotter is really the key to how you get through some of this traffic.
It's amazing. Today they're telling about which line's moving. Next week at Talladega they'll be telling about which line's moving.
Yeah, guys, I'm just sitting here watching the battle going on between Jimmy Spencer, Kyle Petty, Brett Bodine. The guys in the back again, they're pushing and shoving, trying to get ahead because there's the leaders coming, but running out of patience early, and I thought this was the second ball for turn 2. It was going to be a 3-car pile, and every car got together.
So much fun about watching a race here. You see a driver, if he can't beat a guy off the corner, bang him off the corner.
That's where we got that term, beating and banging, I guess.
Coming up on 100 laps, 1/5 distance at Martinsville Speedway, Jerry Nadeau, Jeff Burton, point stand runner-up Matt Kenseth, Mike Skinner, and John Andretti. Folks, can we time these cautions? Don't plan it this way, I promise you. We'll run another one, and here's the reason why. Jimmy Spencer cut down a left rear tire going into turn 1, spun the car up to the wall. Caution came out, Spencer on pit road.
The left side tires, Larry alluded to it earlier, they only have 10 to 12 pounds of air in them. So this is right after, we go back to racing after a caution. If you hit anything or if you abuse those left side tires just ever so slightly, you can cut one down or even knock it off the rim. And that looked like, I didn't see any contact. Did you, Larry?
Didn't see it there at the end of that replay right there, but he hits the left front pretty hard on the wall.
Now Spencer will go a lap down on his stop. Pit road is open, and among the 5 leaders, John Andretti is the only one to pit.
Remember, he didn't pit the last time. He pitted on lap 51 about 50 laps ago. Ward Burton in the 22 as well.
With that low air pressure, if you pay such a price, you got to do it, because if you go on a long run and the buildup gets in the tire, you can't drive the car. But boy, you got to be careful with them when they're down that low, like they are here.
So we're under caution as Ward Burton and John Andretti complete pit stops. Quite a number of the cars 1 lap down have now come in. Another full weekend of racing across the Fox networks, beginning Friday on FX, Winston Cup qualifying from Talladega. Saturday, Winston Cup practice, followed by the Aaron's 312. The NASCAR Busch Race on Fox. And Sunday, NASCAR this morning. The Aaron's 499, presented by Pepsi on Fox, and NASCAR Victory Lane, all access Michael Waltrip. Green flag.
Watching pit road sports, I think sometimes we watch it on the racetrack. We do need to document Hermie Sadler and Steve Parker. Those 2 of them made their lap up when that caution came out a while ago.
And also Kenny Wallace made a pit stop, but he stopped with the right front wheel outside the box and got held for a lap.
Frank Kimmel in the 26 car, remember he was over in Nashville running the ARCA race on Friday, and Joe Nemechek, who drove the 26 car at the beginning of the year, actually qualified this car on Friday. He's a lap down right now.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace came in and he was out of the box just a little wee bit.
And what we mean by out of the box, you have to have at least the right front, the left rear tire inside the pit box, inside the yellow line.
And I'm sure that whole crowd down there singing Yesterday right now.
those are all lead lap cars right there, with the exception of Elliott Sadler. And Jeff Burton now in second place. He and Jerry Nadeau did not stop on this caution, Dick Berger.
There was quite a bit of radio conversation between driver Jeff Burton and his crew chief, Frank Stoddard. First, Stoddard said, Jeff, you're going to have to make the call as to whether we pit or not. They had not pitted since lap 26. There was a pause. Burton said, Frank, I think you better make this call. And there was a call, and he just went back and forth and back and forth. And finally, Stoddard made the decision. Stay out. They want track position. However, they are worried about fuel. They don't want to run out. To Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. pitted on lap 73, he got a bit of a scare when he took off after getting his service. When he accelerated, he was afraid he had hurt the drive shaft, but so far, so good. He told his crew just a few moments ago he's going to try to conserve the brakes. He got it heated up when he was battling with Jeff Gordon earlier. To Matt Yost.
Steve, under that caution, Ricky Craven, who currently rides in the 9th position, as his spotter, the big round mouth of sound fat boy down the inlet, how the right side of his car looked, because he had some close calls under that last run. Fat boy said, it looks awesome. He gave a little Alabama slammy, whatever that means. He said, but the car looks good. Then he said, hey, you had a real close call there with a 2 car. Did you see it? He goes, no. When things get that close, I try not to look.
That's Matt. You're riding with Bobby Hamilton behind Ricky Craven.
And as I watch Bobby Hamilton, here we've got a battle with Dale Jarrett, John Andretti, and Stacy Compton. This is a battle back for 23rd. But the 2 tires, I don't know, Darrell. I believe I don't want to try that no more. It got us a little track position, but I think it's not paying off here as we get into a run.
No, and Larry, you can go the well a couple of times, but that can't be your game plan. You got to think 4 tires, take 2 only when you have. I always want to take 4 under caution. So if I have to pit under green, I'll get my 2.
Tony Stewart, he's pulling on the back bumper by leader Jerry Nadeau, and remember the difference is about 30 laps in tires. Tony Stewart pitted on lap 72, Jerry Nadeau pitted about lap 50, so this is beginning to weigh out the difference in fresher tires right here. But I still think that's a great move Tony Furr, Jerry Nadeau in the 25 car made.
If it's going to give you the lead, if it puts you out front like the 25 is, yeah, that's worth the gamble. But if it's just going to pass up 2 or 3 cars and put you back in the middle of the pack, I wouldn't get it worth it.
And the last time we were on a short track, well, here goes Stewart for the lead. Down to the inside on Nadeau. And scoots off the corner in first place.
Boy, his car, Darrell, it just rolls through the middle. I mean, that's where we talk about where you beat people. If your car will roll through the middle and stay around the bottom, you turn that wheel and pick that throttle up, you can go here.
Yeah, that's what it does, allows you to do. You get back to the gas so much quicker, you exit the corner so much faster than the guy in front of you.
And we talked about this early. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is quite a bit faster than Mike Skinner in the 4 car, but Mike Skinner's protecting that bottom, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. can't get by him.
I wouldn't keep doing that if I was...
Well, Jerry Nadeau, he's way high down in 3 and 4. I'm sorry, Darrell.
That's okay.
Looked like he overdrove the entrance, possibly.
And that's what happens. You lose a little grip, and you drive down in there, and all of a sudden it won't stick.
Now they have the traffic on the high side.
These cars have such huge brakes on them, Larry, as you well know, that you can over-brake the car, lock up the right front tire, or almost lock it up, and the car will just take off with you.
Now, in Mike Skinner's defense, he is the 4th place car. He can't just move over for Dale Jr. That's a battle for position.
No, because if he moves over and lets Dale Earnhardt Jr. by, he's going to go from about 4th to about 15th back there. They're lined up behind him.
Well, I don't expect Mike Skinner's going to move over and let anybody go by if he was 5 laps there. But this is not his style.
This is a good run for this group.
Well, just think about Bobby Hamilton in this 4 car here through the years. Always ran pretty good here. Actually won here.
We're looking at the back of Matt Kenseth's car, and these guys came in here second in points, and I know they were nervous about where they qualified. 26. It's not that you can't get to the front in a 500-lap race, but it's getting in trouble back there starting 26. And they were nervous about that.
All right, Darrell, if you're Dale Earnhardt Jr., right behind that yellow Chevrolet of Mike Skinner, how do you keep from getting impatient?
Well, it's very difficult to do. And you'll start off pleading with your spotter to go plead to the other guy's spotter to give me a break. And when the guy goes and does that, and he comes back and says, they said he's racing for 4th and get by him the best way you can, that opens the door for a lot of things.
Like Jeff Gordon, trying to get by on the inside, didn't have quite enough room.
And that's because Dale Jr.'s being held up by the 4 car. The 24 car is now up on the back of the 8 car, and here comes 32. Everybody's got to go.
Ricky Craven starting to work up in that second groove. He caught him. He said, I'm not going to get under
well up on that outside. I mean, at the start of the race, that's how he passed so many cars. And his car really hooks up good up high. Boy, that can really pay off for you at the end of the day. Or at the beginning of the day. Or in the middle of the day. And then I think it'll pay off all of it.
Junior inside Skinner, and they touch. Going into turn one.
And see, these cars have so much gear and so much power. When you try to jump in the throttle to get it, take advantage of him sliding up a little bit, you just get your car sideways.
Junior's best end of the racetrack is down here at the south end in turns 1 and 2.
And they are different. Turns 1 and 2 is bumpy. You go in there low, the car chatters right through there. Bum, 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 on that concrete. Down here at 3 and 4 is a little smoother, but it's loose hops.
Tony Stewart has jumped out to a 1.5 second lead over Jeff Burton right now. 1 Pontiac, 2 Fords, and 2 Chevys.
Welcome back to the Virginia 500 presented by Yamaha live at Martinsville Speedway. Virginia is for lovers and if you love short track racing, well, you're in the right spot. The oldest and shortest track. It's out with Jeff Hammond observing with Tony Stewart leading at the moment. Jeff Gordon came in on the pole, still looking for his first victory of the year, currently running 5th.
Well, right now, Chris, he got kind of caught up after that first round of pit stops and wound up back in traffic. I think he's just really being smart. It's a long race. You got to save your brakes. You got to keep the nose on the car. I think he's in a position where he kind of likes what he sees.
And Jeff Gordon, a part of Roush Racing, he's one of the guys who haven't won so far this year.
No, but they've been looking pretty good at different times. This is a racetrack that they've run well at before. Jeff at one time was very, very dominant in places like Loudon, so to find himself running well at Martinsville doesn't surprise me at all. Again, he and Frank Stoddard, if they get their pit strategy right, they again can win today.
Currently running second with that 4 meters, 4 different lead changes, and 4 cautions. Let's go back upstairs now. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Wolf.
Mike, one thing I'm noticing, Larry, is there's a second, every week we talk about a second groove. Normally, Martinsville doesn't have a good second groove, outside groove, but there's a lot of cars making good passes and passing a lot of cars by going up in the outside groove and getting by them. You don't see that a lot here, but I think that maybe, Larry, the truck race yesterday, that bottom's getting a lot of rubber on it, might be getting a little slick.
You know, a guy that qualified pretty good, Rusty Wallace, brand new race car here. He's sitting back here in 16th position. He's kind of caught up in traffic right now. Bobby Labonte in 18, Kurt Busch in the 97. I want to show you, this is the right rear suspension. We're looking at the gear right here, and what this is right here, it's a rear end pump. That's what's pumping the rear end fluid to cool it. And you see this is a trailing arm right here, and what they have this brake duct on the trailing arm. The hose runs up here to cool the right rear brake. This is probably about a 250, 275 pound rear spring. Get about 3.5, 4 inches of travel down in the corner. A lot of movement back there, but I think that also shows you how bumpy this place is. I mean, all the way through this concrete, you talked about it earlier, Darrell, it's not bumps as much as it's chatter. And the more the race goes on, the rubber builds up down there, and that becomes even more of an issue. Just pop, 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 all the way through the corner.
If you watch that spring, he's just coming out in 3 and 4. It's smoother, but when he gets down here to turns 1 and 2, watch this thing do that bop, 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 bop we're talking about, right? See it do all that chatter right there, and that's where you have real tough time hooking the thing up.
On the exit of the corner. Now this will be on the right front right here. This is on the 55 car, Bobby Hamilton. Look at the brake rotor glowing. The brake right in there. I mean, it glows all the way the time he's on it. Backs off the brake, puts the throttle back up. You see that this will be going back down the corner. See how red it gets? That's happening 1,000 times a race, Jeff.
Yes, Larry. When we talked about it a little bit earlier in our pre-race, you've got to really concentrate on keeping the brakes cool. You can see how hot they get. Temperatures sometimes exceed almost 1,400 degrees. So if you have a problem with cooling your brakes, it doesn't take very long for them to fail. Boil the fluid, and you know what happens next, Darrell. You'll be pumping that bad boy going down the corner.
That's why you got to have really good brake coolers, and that's why riding along like yourself as much as you can with that front end wide open, getting plenty of fresh air will pay off at the end of the day.
Tony Stewart, he's pulled out almost a 3-second lead, but he's just about getting into some lap traffic. Mike Skinner up there in the 4 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and 8. This is a battle for second. Again, 3 seconds behind leader Tony Stewart.
And you watch how quickly that lead dissipates when he runs up into this lap traffic, because they're not going to move over, just let it go.
There's the interval on Fox Tracks, and there's Elliott Sadler going around off of turn 4. That is going to be a break for some drivers.
No caution. No caution. He got going. No caution.
Okay, that's no break for anybody.
No.
It's a tough break for Jeff Green, who's the next car right in front of Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony had him passed, and when the caution came out, or they thought he was going to, he slowed down, let Jeff go back by, but back to business.
Elliott Sadler has always struggled here in a Winston Cup car. I don't believe he's ever qualified for a race on time at this speedway.
The 21 car. Other than when Pearson won here back in the 70s or 60s, wherever it was, it's about the only time I've ever run good here.
Show you what happened to Sadler way back coming around that corner. There we go.
Got a little help from Kurt Busch in the 97 car.
Well, again, it's slick off that corner. That new patch right there causes your car to be a little loose, and then you get a little help from the rear, one of your friends, and around you go.
I mean, these cars running around like a freight train. You jump back in the throttle, he jumps back in the throttle, your car gets a little loose, you have to come out. What's he going to do? He's going to stay in the throttle? Little tap.
It's a love thing.
A Martinsville love thing.
That's right. It's a love. Where's the love?
This is about to look not lovely right here. Grab a gear and go.
Well, he had a spin there earlier. He figured the thing out now. I can spin her around and keep going.
The Wood brothers, number 21, won here in 1968 with Cale Yarborough and 1973 with David Pearson.
Finally, after about 35 to 40 laps, Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets Mike Skinner just a little out of shape, takes second place, opened the door for Jeff Gordon and Ricky Craven in the 32 car. Mike will probably go all the way from second back to fifth.
Now, Darrell, on the force meter, how much difference is there between bump 'em and dump 'em?
Well, yeah, you can tell the difference. You know, there are two guys that know what's going on. You start to get in the throttle, and all of a sudden you got to lift up a little bit, and you get hit from the rear. You can't be mad at the guy behind you. But if you're doing a good job, you're driving off the corner, all of a sudden somebody just rams into you, that'll get your attention and make you very unhappy. And you'd be like Jimmy Spencer. You never won't forget.
Earnhardt Jr. now the second place car with Jeff Gordon and Cole Sitter third. There is the interval on Fox Tracks to race leader Tony Stewart.
And one of the tough things for being at the back of the field, at the back of the pack, is when somebody like Tony gets it going, gets everything working, and he marches through the field like he is. He's not being held up by slow cars, catching them and passing. That means you're going to be in trouble in a hurry.
But Darrell, since that wreck at Darlington, this is the second short track we've run. Is this a really tough place for Tony? He's had a couple of weeks to try to heal up, but
this joint is physically demanding. You got to use your legs, you got to use your arms. Even though it's a small racetrack, it's very physically demanding. You're always fighting the steering wheel. You think about qualifying, like how everybody's hands are just all over the place. You do that for 500 laps.
Stewart is the leader now by 4 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Robbie Gordon. Ricky Craven, Mike Skinner, the top 5, then Terry Labonte and Bobby Hamilton. Welcome back to Martinsville. 160 laps complete, where the only change in the top 10 is Ricky Rudd, who comes to 10th, displacing Jeff Burton. Andy Hillenberg and Casey Atwood, the only cars in the garage at 161 laps, to come up on 1/3 distance. Jerry Nadeau was leading at the last restart. He's fallen back to 13th. Make that 14th now as Bobby Labonte moves past.
Now, I think the big problem with Jerry Nadeau, he's getting up there about 130, 140 laps on his tires. That's when it really starts sliding around. And he's probably only another 30 or so laps away from having to come to pit road because he's going to need fuel and tires.
Yeah, they gamble. I mean, all those early cautions, sometimes we get into a situation where we have a lot of long green laps, and boy, that can bite you.
Johnny Benson fighting hard to stay on the lead lap against Tony Stewart.
Those guys, Hermie Sadler and Johnny Benson both have held Tony up for quite a while here, but I don't think it's enough to make a lot of difference. Tony's car's working so good, if he's patient, he just finally works his way right around him.
And you know what will happen in Martinsville? Yeah, it's Tony Stewart, the leader, catches traffic. That helps Jeff Gordon, the 24
Trouble turn 2, Robbie Gordon.
No caution. If he can get to pit road, I doubt he'll be able to get to pit road this time. Looks like he has a flat right front. He will not get to pit road.
Better watch out, hauling off in the third turn there. She got a right front down.
He's going to lose a lot of laps. Tim Overby, a spotter, trying to find him a hole where he can get to the bottom. He's about a half a lap from having to get back to try to get to pit road again. And the leader's coming.
Tough day for Richard Childress Racing. Driver Kevin Harvick parked by NASCAR, not allowed to compete. Jeff Green, not very competitive. And now Robbie Gordon with a cut tire.
And that could be a product of a cut tire, or it could be the heat, brake heat, causing that right front tire to blow out.
And what it'll do, there's a bead that seals against the rim. That rim will absorb so much heat, it'll just cook the bead of the tire. The bead is much tougher than it used to be, but still, if you're using a lot of brake, it won't take that much.
Guys, we got brakes better here. Goodyear had to go to work and make the bead of the tire tougher than it ever been. So it's just a product of this racetrack.
14th place at stake here. Rusty Wallace restarted 21st. Was well back after pit stops, and now Dale Jarrett is by.
Darrell, it don't look like Rusty in the two. He can't keep his car down in the middle, and in turn, it will not get a bite up off the corner. He's like having to pedal the throttle off the corner.
I was watching there, and he takes a real wide he gets a late apex into the turn. He's been leaving the bottom wide open for everybody, and I guess that's because his car is probably too tight, Steve.
The DW, Rusty is telling Billy Wilbert, his crew chief, that he's loose getting off the corners, and also to further complicate matters, that's a brand new race car for Rusty Wallace. It has never been raced or tested. Caution's out.
Well, Brett, now, this is an old short track trick, and we are at a short track. You have trouble, you pull up in turn 2, and you stop. The yellow flag waves, and on you go.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Robbie Gordon didn't do that. He kind of hung up on the outside to stop. And Hermie gets saved again. He gets a lap back.
So do drivers like Rusty Wallace.
Oh, he did not get a lap back. I thought he was passing the leader there.
Brett, again, looks like the same sort of problem. Cuts down a tire.
Yeah, I mean, in turn, Robbie Gordon's 4 laps down. Brett Bodine now only lost 1 lap by stopping on the racetrack and the caution coming out. Quite a difference.
There is, however, the possibility of a judgment call as to whether or not Bodine was unable to move. Maybe he cut the tire and the car stalled, or
you never know. That's a judgment thing.
Through the caution.
And we speculate the same thing might have happened to Brett Bodine, because we are getting a report that the bead on the right front of the 31 car, Robbie Gordon, it did melt the bead, and that's just too much brake heat.
Lots of brake heat here. Well over 1,000 degrees for a lot of laps.
We should see about all the leaders to pit road, because most of them's been out there for almost 100 laps. So everybody should come to pit road, 4 tires, adjustments, full up the fuel.
Now this will put Hermie Sadler, Johnny Benson on the tail end of the lead lap should they choose to stay out. Here come the leaders, and you'll follow Fox tracks to find their pit stalls. Matt?
Mike, on the previous pit stop, Tony Stewart made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. This stop, Greg Fidelli's crew chief said, "What do you want this time, Smokey?" He said, "I don't know, 4 tires." He said, "All right, that's what you get." Steve Burns?
Well, that Jeff Gordon's only adjustment, a half pound out of the right rear tire. 4 tire change for Jeff Gordon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, 1 pound out of both rear tires. Gordon is out.
Jeff Burton just came in. He took 4 tires, took a round of wedge in the left rear. They really badly needed that pit stop, Mike. They figured they could only go about 20 more laps on the fuel that they had in the car. Tires were pretty well worn out. Made an air pressure adjustment. He had dropped from 2nd all the way back to 13th spot.
Dale Jarrett in his pit, but out of the box. Backed it in, and now they complete service. Hermie Sadler and Johnny Benson did pit, so they will not be in front of the leaders on the tail end of the lead lap when Mary
And the rear winners on pit road, Terry Labonte's group, he comes in 6th, goes out 4th. Ricky Rudd came in 10th, goes out 6th. Boy, it's like buying a lot of laps out there on that racetrack trying to pass cars. Much easier to pass them on pit road.
Look at old driver happy.
Jeff?
Michael's sitting there watching the guys come off pit road again, and this pit road is bit. Bill Elliott, he got caught coming off pit road and got put down a lap.
So Elliott goes a lap down. Tony Stewart retains the lead here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte, and Mike Skinner.
Clear.
Gotta be fast on, exciting. You got to be fast on pit road and not just making your pit stop as Stacy Compton pulls away.
everybody is pretty much on equal tires now. Pretty much all the leaders pitting that time since the last caution was back on lap 100.
Yeah, the racing at the front could get very interesting. You got the best cars at the front with the best tires on them, so it could get real interesting.
We still have 26 cars on the lead lap.
I got to believe if Jeff's got anything for Tony, he's probably going to get on up there and get after it.
Steve?
Mike Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in. They put on 4 new tires. They took a pound out of both rear tires and air pressure adjustment. His biggest problem right now, he told the crew that the straw that leads to his water can will not bring water in. He's sucking air. And he said that's hardcore at Martinsville, Matt Yoakum.
Steve, Terry Labonte has climbed to 4. I spoke with his coach, Jim Long. He said we really haven't made any adjustments. Just 4 tires. Terry is patiently just riding along, working his way through traffic. This is a brand new drops now car, similar to the one Jeff Gordon sat on the pole with here last year. And keep in mind, he is having a good day, on pace to score his first top 10 finish at Martinsville since the spring race in 1998 when he finished 6th.
When we did the qualifying show, and I was talking to Terry, and I said, well, you have sat on the pole here, and he thought about it a minute. He said, that was 21 years ago. I said, I know, you beat me that day. That's how I remember it.
Well, Matt Kenseth came into the pits running in 11th spot. He came out in 10th position. Minor adjustments to that car. Let's point out that Kenseth came into this race second in points. He has won 2 out of the 7 races that have been held in this series so far this year. He has been very hot. It's his best start ever for a Winston Cup season.
Matt Kenseth, during our 1-800-CALL-ATT cam today. You can win a trip to a NASCAR race when you call collect 1-800-CALL-ATT.
Make a note that Casey Atwood, after being in the garage for 109 laps, he's back out on the racetrack. So 185 laps into this race, 42 of the 43 cars that started are out there running. Andy Hillenberg, the 71, the only car that's out.
Now, let me tell you who's about to get aggressive, and that's the car with the big bullseye on the hood, Jimmy Spencer. Spencer got caught a lap down when he did not beat the stop sign paddle coming out of pit road, and right now he's positioned right behind the 2 leaders. Can Spencer get one of his laps back?
Yeah, he's 3 laps down, lost a lap when he got caught by the stop and go man. Another couple of laps when he had the flat tire and spun over one too.
Pretty good. He's hit that wall pretty hard that left front, and he's back running pretty good.
If there's a place, if you can get to the front, if there's a place you can make laps up, Martinsville, a lot like Bristol, you can make laps up at Martinsville.
Oh, yeah, if you can close up on the inside there, go all the way to the front on those restarts, you've got the advantage going down into turn 1. And, of course, we've seen once you get out front, it's pretty hard to get past.
Mike Skinner with Ricky Rudd on his bumper. Inside Johnny Benson, who is 1 lap down now.
Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, Ricky Rudd's teammate, he's a lap down as well.
Yeah, from the penalty that they held him there in the pits. I'm really surprised. I thought Jarrett was going to have a good day. I watched his car in happy hour. It was pretty good. Really good on the long run. Boy, he hasn't shown it so far today.
Mike Skinner at the head of that group has had 3 top 10s in his last 5 Martinsville races, a 4th, a 6th, and an 8th. He's on pace for a good day. Up at the front now, it's just 0.3 of a second. Well, it's less than that now between Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, man.
Well, guys, you heard the report on the 31 car that Robbie Gordon had melted a bead. The bead between the tire and the wheel had gotten so hot that it actually melted. You can see here on the wheel, this is Bobby Hamilton's right front tire that they're going to put on the next stop. They put the heat reflective tape just to try to help out any way possible. You see the roll of it here. They put some all the way around the inside shoulder of the wheel. They're going to do that on the left front as well, just to try to help out.
The inside of that wheel is tan. That is Teflon coating. They don't want any rubber sticking to that wheel, throwing it out of balance. Plus, look from suspension can.
Plus, the caliper runs right up next. I mean, it almost touches that wheel. There's only a few thousandths clearance in there. Sometimes a lug nut or a piece of rubber get hung in there, and it can rip the brakes right off the car.
See that rotor glowing every time Bobby Hamilton drives down into the corner. You see almost when he comes off the brake pedal, you'll use a lot of brake, and then you'll start to trail out that brake just a little bit, but any brake applied still creating heat.
Ideally, you want to get the car slowed down while it's still going straight. Because if you're on the brakes getting in the corner, you're going to get the front end sliding, or you're going to get the back end around. So you try to stop it while it's still going straight and get off the pedal.
6 laps. We'll be at 40% distance. Tony Stewart out front. We move from NASCAR's slowest track to the fastest speedway on earth, Talladega, Alabama, next weekend. The International Motorsports Hall of Fame will be holding its induction next week, its annual induction. And then we'll see Winston Cup and Busch Racing at Talladega on FX.
There's the man right there that won this race a year ago, Bobby Hamilton. He's sitting here right now in 8th place. I think they figured out maybe 2 tires wasn't the way to go. Took on 4 tires on that last stop. Here again, we're looking at the right front of Bobby Hamilton Jr. So this is actually Bobby Hamilton Sr.'s car.
He did a Busch race.
Yesterday, Bobby Hamilton Jr. ran well there.
He did.
Had a good day, him and old Fred.
You know what it says on Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s birth certificate? Charles Robert Hamilton the fourth. But for our purposes, he's Bobby Jr. This fella is Bobby the third, but it's Bobby Sr. as far as NASCAR fans know. Close enough. Matty Upton.
Well, you guys are talking a lot about brakes and how hot they can get. A lot of teams battle that heat in many ways. When you talk to Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Robbie Loomis, they actually have 3 blowers on each front tire. They've got one that blows on the bead, one that blows on the inside shoulder, so that way maybe if they're running a little more camber, it does cool the temperature. In fact, their infrared sensor during testing showed 15 degrees cooler when they had that blower blowing on that inside shoulder of the right front tire.
And what these blowers are, if you have a boat that has an inboard motor, you have to cut a blower on to blow the fumes out of the engine compartment before you crank it. That's all those blowers are. And you can run 3 per wheel. A lot of times they'll run 1 on each rear wheel. That's even the blowers they'll use to cool the drivers. Well, we've had as many as 8, 9, 10 blowers on our car before.
And they pull a lot of amps. And a lot of times it's very hard on the battery, obviously, and on the whole system, the alternator and the battery. You can't have problems with all those fans on this short track like this.
You cure one problem and hope you don't cause another. Tony Stewart's lead over Jeff Gordon, just a couple of car lengths.
Welcome back to the Virginia 500 presented by Yamaha. FX welcoming you live to Martinsville, Virginia. We've got a good one. Still a little over 290 laps to go here, but Tony Stewart leading Jeff Gordon. And 111 times Gordon and Stewart have raced together in Winston Cup. Head-to-head, Jeff Gordon has finished ahead of Tony Stewart 57 times. And 54 times Tony Stewart has finished ahead of Jeff Gordon. It's shaping up like this could be an exciting finish.
Definitely so. These guys are here. I mean, this really shows the kind of championship caliber racing we've got going on here today, Chris. Somebody's got a problem.
That's the 43 car in the ball over.
Yep.
All right, and you talked in the pre-race show, you talked about engines. You would think brakes would be a problem here, but certainly losing engines.
Oh, we got trouble right there off that corner also. The leader just slide by like Frank Kimmel got around Robbie Gordon.
It's Robbie Gordon for 31. There's Kimmel. So this would be the 5th caution. And let's go back upstairs to 6th caution to Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Walton.
Darrell, there's a huge plume of smoke from John Andretti's car right in the middle of turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think there's fluid down there. I think I can see some black. Oh, Gordon's got into something, got a left front down. You can see the
a lot of damage on the fender.
The whole left side, actually.
The right side's okay, right? Left side's only this time. Left side's only. Get the left side on it only. Get that? Get the left side clear. You got the clear?
But now, Barry, I'm a little surprised that they're calling for left sides only because he pitted before the pits were open.
Yeah, but in case they have to do work on that left front, they want to get the tires changed and make sure they don't get trapped in the pits by like some of these other guys have done. Steve Burns, is that what they're doing?
Good point.
Yeah, Larry, Jeff just said on the radio that Jimmy Spencer got into the left side of it, so they're going to change left side tires and pull the sheet metal away so they have enough clearance so there is not a run. They're beating at the left front with a hammer. The rear tire is on. Now they'll put the left front tire on. The tire looks like it has plenty of clearance. They're making sure, and they're going to put the hammer underneath there, pull out the sheet metal some more, get back on the racetrack.
Now, Jimmy Spencer trying to get one of his laps back as the caution flag came out.
And guess what?
Contact.
He did.
Now there's John Andretti.
Thinking there's some. They got to be. He's wobbling a little bit through there. There's that fluid's coming out.
There's Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart,
the leaders. Gordon goes low.
Oh, Spencer goes lower.
Well, Jeff's trying to go underneath that car, and Jimmy Spencer was there.
Now, since we don't forget either, that looked a little like Jimmy Spencer and Jack Sprague on the last Busch race trying to get back to the flag.
Here comes Spencer. Look, he's coming, and all of a sudden Tony stops. That means Jeff's got to turn to keep running into Tony.
You're right.
And Jimmy ran into him. I call that casual contact.
You're right. Frank Kimmel was rolling backwards on the racetrack, and at the last minute, Stewart decided to go outside instead of inside.
Exactly.
And again, I want to talk about what Robbie Loomis did there. Very smart move. He knew he was close to the front. He had that whole pace lap or that whole caution lap to change the left side tires and work on the left front. Then there at the rear of the field, he zips back in, gets his right side, damage repaired, 4 fresh tires.
Glad you explained that, because that was a heads-up move.
Yeah, it was.
Pit stops continue under this caution. We'll sort things out when we come back to Martinsville Speedway. 214 laps are complete.
Welcome back live to Martinsville, the Virginia 500, presented by Yamaha under our 6th caution. Tony Stewart still your leader, as you see, after 218 laps of the 500 now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has moved up to 2nd. Rusty Wallace, who has won here 6 times, currently running 10th, will return to live action in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back live to Martinsville, the Hollywood Hotel. We are at trackside. Tony Stewart has led the most laps thus far. The drivers leading the most laps, though, have failed to win 8 of the last 10 races. But we heard earlier Larry and DW talking about Tony's shocks and Doctor Who.
Yeah, Ronnie Crooks is the guy, I think, right now who has the magic for the shocks around here. This racetrack, very bumpy, need a lot of grip. That's him right there. We're seeing right there, the gentleman. They say he has magic in those hands of his as far as figuring out what it takes to make a car get around a racetrack. And today, he's showing the way.
Now, Tony Stewart has won from the pole here before. He once suggested filling the infield with water at this track and turning it into a bass pond. So he's felt both extremes. As we get ready to go green, you have to like his position with Dale Earnhardt Jr. running 2nd and Jeff Gordon now beat up in this.
Exactly. I think you see right there, last year's winner, Dale Jarrett, on the inside of Tony Stewart, as we get ready to come back here and take the green.
Now, Jeff Gordon will restart back at 24th position because he pitted before pit road had been opened.
Had to go to the tail end of the longest line,
which is way back.
Drive off in that first turn after a caution. Got a lot of debris on the tires. Car doesn't hit up real good. Tony slid up, opened the bottom up for Dale Jr., but as you can see, off turn 4, just a little bit loose. Can't quite put it down there.
Now, Dale Jarrett is looking to get a lap back. He is 1 lap down, 3rd car in line.
In the 4th car behind Bill Elliott, 99 cars down in the grass.
But he's back out, and I think he's okay.
No caution. But Bill Elliott in the 9 car, remember, he got trapped by the stop-and-go paddle man. He's a lap down as well. Dale Jarrett in 88, Darrell, he's got a good race car. It's just, unfortunate for that group that happened to him. What he wants to do is get up there and get by these guys and try to catch that caution.
Well, yeah, he's in the right place now. Just stay right there. When these 2 guys whack each other and knock each other out of the way, he can go by.
You've seen this movie, huh?
Yes.
Does it have a happy ending?
For him, it does.
He's trying to stay glued to Dale Earnhardt Jr. because if Dale Earnhardt Jr. ever sticks that right front of that left rear of Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett wants to follow him through.
Yeah, Dale's car looks a little bit tight. Dale Jarrett's car looks a little bit tight right through the center of the corner. That's where he loses most of his time. Slides up a little bit, can't quite get a turn right there, and they drive off and leave him.
I look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. I talked to Tony Ure Jr. the other day. I said, what car is this? He said, this is our Martinsville car. We've run it 4 times. We put bodies on it 3 times. It's our sacrifice we make to NASCAR racing. twice a year.
I remember one race here, he hit everything, including the record.
He did the amulet sitting on the back
amulet,
stretch.
yeah. He hit everything.
Well, then he should be buying those lottery tickets. It's the only thing he hasn't hit here.
That's right.
Qualified good here, and here he's running in second position, and we're getting close to halfway. Lap 2:30 coming our way.
Well, Michael came up here and tested, and I talked to Michael, my brother, and he said it had a great test. Looked like it helped Dale Jr. It didn't do much for Michael.
We talked about Matt Kenseth, who came in here second to points, but what about our points leader, Sterling Marlin, qualified way back, 29th? He's up to 13th position. But what I have to believe that's going on with Sterling Marlin, I talked to him and Tony Glover Lee McCall this morning. Speaking of Sterling Marlin, he's all the way up the top of the racetrack. Their car was a little bit loose yesterday, and you have to believe with these hot temperatures today, it's a lot looser.
What happened to the 14 and the 40? They went down here in the corner, and the 40 whacked the 14 in the rear end, got him sideways. They went down the back. 40 leaned into the 14, and then they got down to turn 3. Stacy just took him up the hill. Watch this. Here they go. Whacked him right there. He said, "Hey, buddy, I didn't appreciate that." Now watch what Stacy does. You didn't like that? See how you like this.
Sterling was a busy man in there. Not the thing you want going on being the points leader.
No, he doesn't need to be banging on those left side tires. We've seen everybody here just about have flat tires down on the left side.
He went from 14th back to 18th through all that.
You know, if John McEnroe couldn't keep his temper, and he only hit the ball he'll only put the ball in play once every 10 or 15 seconds. How do you expect these fellas who are going at it straight on for 500 laps to keep their tempers all the time?
It's just like walking into the arena with the bull and waving a red flag. Something's got to give, baby. The bull is going to attack.
.235 laps complete at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Tony Stewart leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Terry Labonte has climbed to third. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway, where right now Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have clear track ahead of them for about a quarter of a lap, and then traffic jam. We're looking at Ryan Newman and the smoke coming from that car just in front of Matt Kenseth.
What do you think? Brakes are here and didn't might know. Go there.
Well, I can tell you what it's not, because he just said, Ryan Newman just said it is not tire smoke. He thinks it's coming out of the exhaust of the car. I remind you that last week in Texas, he lost an engine that failed to finish. And I believe that's where it's coming from. He has the exhaust pipes running out the right side. I looked at that this morning, and it looks like every time he backs off the throttle, Darrell, that thing's smoking out the right exhaust. It's a shame because he qualified 10th. He's running to the top 10 and 10th. And remember, last week in Texas, they had an engine failure. They broke an intake valve last week in Texas.
One of the interesting things, team to team, whether it's two-car team, three-car team, or whatever, one driver likes one engine combination. Another driver likes another engine combination. I was talking to Larry about last week about the 88 and 28. Two teams come out of the same house, both run totally different engine combinations with good results. Because one driver likes a lot of acceleration, the other likes a lot of straightaway speed.
Right now, it's hurting his lap times. I mean, he's getting slower and slower. He just ran a 21.19. The leader just ran a 21.02. Dick Bergman, how about more than 12? Well, unfortunately, the news is not good. Newman has just come over the radio and said that the oil temperature gauge is pegged. That means it's probably an internal engine problem. Oil temperature is pegged. It will not be long where he'll be on pit road or in the garage or that thing out there on the racetrack with a lot running out the bottom.
That's about like cooking French fries right now. They're going to burn up here in a minute.
But that was a good run from him. Came up here and tested, brand new race car. Never had even been to Martinsville in anything.
Meanwhile, Tony Stewart has opened up a lead now of more than a second on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon started at the back end of the field.
Hadn't made a lot of progress.
No, not a lot.
But in about 5, 6, 7 laps, Tony Stewart's going to catch the whole back half of the field. So that's what Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be waiting on. They're pretty much lined up about all the way around this racetrack right now. Looks like a conveyor belt.
Ferris wheel or something. Round and around we go. They wound them up and just keep on going.
Now we're we're being told that Gordon is a lap down, that during his pit stop, they had 8 men over the wall servicing the car, where only 7 are allowed. So NASCAR docked the defending Winston Cup champion, and he's a lap down. Wow.
Yeah, showing back in 31st position on our scoring monitor, -1 lap, as you say, Mike.
That's it. That's it. So not only is he a lap down, he's in danger of going another lap down because he's coming off 4. Tony Stewart's going into 3.
Points leader Sterling Marlin on the lead lap in 18th position, trying to get past Gordon. Good thing these cards all have different paint jobs, because after about halfway here, you can't read the numbers. At least not the ones on the side, anyway.
The roof number's about all you can read. This car that Sterling's driving, this is a car they didn't run a lot at the end of last year. They did run it in New Hampshire there in November, finished second, but it was his favorite car from the first half of last season, and they worked hard to try to duplicate it with a couple more.
Well, if aerodynamics means anything, he's ruined that car. He's got the nose all beat in on it.
He's made the sacrifice.
That's right.
8th place battle, Ricky Rudd tried the inside. Whoa, Jeff Gordon. And the caution is out.
That's definitely engine problem.
Yeah, something just broke.
Power steering's gone now. It's a belt. I've still got oil pressure.
Power steering trouble for Jeff Gordon. And Dale Jarrett gets his lap back from Tony Stewart.
And you know what? I'm glad he did, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen that guy slow down and let other people get their laps back.
Jarrett.
So, Jarrett. And Tony slowed down and let Dale get his back.
Come on in this time.
7th caution flag of the day, and it's the second one that Jeff Gordon's brought out.
You see it smoking.
Don't think that's engine smoke, is it? Yeah, he's almost lost it right there. That's some fluid coming out from somewhere.
But you know, I heard him say he had lost his power steering. That means probably the power steering belt's gone that's driven off the front of the motor, Darrell. Or possibly, you know, it may have busted a power steering pump or something, or blew a line off.
You'd think it'd be a line with all that smoke and the fluid coming
Still got
out.
oil pressure.
So it's not a motor problem.
Full gauge, bud.
Full gauge is fine.
Here he comes down into turn 3. Something just let go all at once. Some kind of line, some kind of fluid has run out from under the car.
Well, Darryl, if it had been the belt that runs the power steering, that would not necessarily send fluid everywhere.
No, it wouldn't smoke because the pump quit turning.
But if the pump broke or he broke the hose, that would produce that kind of smoke.
I got to believe it's more like a hose. They're high pressure hose. They take, I don't know, several thousand pounds of pressure, but sometimes they blow up.
All right, you're following the race leaders on Fox Tracks as they make their pit stops under caution here at lap 256. Halfway. Matt?
Tony Stewart slides to a stop. He said his car was very good. Needed a little bit of help in the center of the corner to help the car cut, but he didn't want to make too big of adjustments. They only took out a half a pound out of the right front to Steve Burns.
Matt, same thing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Right side tires are on, left side tires coming off now. He said his car is just a little bit tight in the middle. Stewart is out, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to beat him off pit road.
They had to push Tony Stewart. They had to push start him, and he lost a lot of positions getting out of his pit.
But I tell you who won the battle off pit road, Terry Labonte in that 5 car.
Hey, here comes Terry Labonte. He's going to lead a lap for the first time in more than a year right here.
How about that? Hey, how about that? Them boys are excited too. Came in third. These boys took the lead. Remember, they picked up a bunch of spots on the last pit stop.
I'm sorry. Ward Burton is the race leader. Ward Burton is the leader.
And the reason he's the leader, he pitted on lap 10 about 45 laps ago, and he is elected to stay out. He's the only one that stayed out on this caution.
Well, he spoiled Terry Labonte's party. Terry will have his chance when we go back to green. Stacy Compton, too fast exiting pit road. That'll be a penalty. Ryan Newman remains in the pit lane with the left side of the car jacked up.
His gear. I think he's got a gear going out.
So the shortest track on the circuit takes its toll on equipment here today. We'll be right back. Ward Burton is our leader. Terry Labonte won the race off pit road, and he is second. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd. Problems for Tony Stewart exiting his pit have put him back in 11th place as they get lined up and the track gets cleaned up. Now you see on the left Terry Labonte's crew, and on the right Tony Stewart's crew.
I think I know. I've had this happen to me. I think here's what you left foot brake here. You use your left foot to brake. You brake so much here that your left leg gets tired. When they drop that jack, you pop that clutch too quickly, kills the motor.
Look at the 5 group, though, behind them. They have something to cheer about. It's been a long time since these guys had something to cheer about. They were happy. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Larry Mack, they didn't make any changes on that last pit stop, but Jim Long, a lot of momentum you and this 5 team are gaining here today.
Yeah, it's a great run for the Kellogg Chevrolet. Terry's been really taking care of his equipment the first 250 laps here. Go tell him to start pressing it here pretty soon. We'll see what we got here. We got a long way to go. That 20 car's strong, that 8 car's strong, and anything could happen. But this Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, Kellogg Chevrolet is doing an excellent job. Excellent.
Well, a crew member handed him the tire sheet that came off the last set of tires, the temperatures. He looked at it and said, "That is perfect, just perfect," to Dick Berggren.
Ryan Newman is right now in the garage area. The first clue as to what really went wrong with his engine happened when Trent Carey, the rear tire carrier, and Matt McSwain, the rear tire changer, both slipped and fell on the last pit stop. They slipped and fell in oil. The oil has been pumped out of this engine. Newman said he had to shut it off when he got down to just 10 points. Interestingly, Rusty Wallace came on the radio and wanted to know what's going on. They are teammates. Rusty obviously worried about his engine if this one is cooked, and this one is cooked.
There's Wallace, who is presently in 8th place. 24 cars on the lead lap here at Martinsville Speedway, and Ward Burton is our leader.
Welcome back, FX, bringing you the Virginia 500 presented by Yamaha. Ward Burton leading from the 36th starting position, but this is all about battling for position. The phrase, "I need my space," applies here. It's Martinsville Madness. Elliott Sadler taking a spin. Kenny Wallace in for Kevin Harvick, having some problems. 5 leaders, 5 lead changes, and 7 cautions. More recently, Jeff Gordon, who started this race on the pole, experiencing some problems. And let's get an update and head down to Steve Barnes. Steve?
Chris Watt with Robbie Loomis, the crew chief. Robbie, you guys have had a tough day. What's wrong with the 24 car?
Yeah, the DuPont Chevrolet's been handling great, but I made a mistake there. Had too many people over the wall. They got us a lap down. Right now, we broke a fitting in the power steering pump. It's going to be really tough on the driving the rest of the day. We just have to see what happens.
All right, thanks, Robbie. Let's go to Jeff Hammond.
Steve, what Robbie's talking about here, we can see on our cutaway car. This right here is what they call the power steering pump. This is the line that pressurizes the box itself, and here is the pump that he's referring to. More than likely, this fitting right here, which is on the pressure side, is what's broken. It's a little tubular line. Sometimes can be kind of fragile. Sometimes rubber can fly up and actually fracture this line and cause it to break and fall off. That's where all the oil came from, while the smoke on the 24 car. Going to make things a little difficult for the 24 car to be able to do good for the day. Believe me.
Woodward is the engine tuner for Tony Stewart. And Woody, what happened on that pit stop?
Well, he stalled it coming in, and when he went to start it, the starter laid down on him, so it wouldn't even turn over, so we had to push it.
Well, they've also told Tony to try to keep the RPMs up a little more on his next pit stop to try to keep the car from stalling again.
Ward Burton, who was running 14th before the caution flag. 13 cars in front of him pitting, and here we go.
Gosh, seems like it's been forever since we did any racing.
And he got that track position, but he has 35 laps on his tires. Look, Jimmy Spencer carries him all the way up there trying to get one of those laps back.
Well, Jimmy got one back there on the last caution, and he's out front again to get another one back.
That puts him just 1 lap down. Oops. And here's Johnny Benson trying to get back on the lead lap.
So much state ride stuff on the track right now is making it difficult for everybody.
Battle for second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. The 8 car ran the high side right there. He got by Terry Labonte. He's working trying to get by Terry Labonte.
Jimmy Johnson, 3rd place point man. The rookie makes a stop.
Like it broke the rear end.
Oh, another rear end. Oh, Spencer loose.
Yeah, he's having a tough time. He's not going to be able to hang on to that lap.
And Benson's going to get a little insurance. He's back on the lead lap while Labonte works underneath for the lead. Here comes Terry.
He's going to lead this time. And he's going to get
I don't think had him moved up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. His car was working good on the high side before Burke moved right up in front of him.
Labonte and Craven.
We didn't lead that one, but it's getting closer.
He's going to lead this one.
Well, I don't know. Spencer could be involved.
He got a good bite off turn 2, a little bit fresher tires than Ward Burke. Depends on where Jimmy Spencer ends up going here, but in front of these guys.
Terry Labonte has not run a lap here since 1996.
He got this one, boys.
Got one.
Good job.
First lap he's led in Winston Cup since October 2000 at Talladega.
Tony's smiling.
Nice birthday present for Tony Tiger, who's 5 years older than Terry.
Speaking of birthday, happy birthday today to Steve Burns, our man in the pits.
Spencer's loving this because he's not all that good right now, but those guys racing each other like that, they allowing him to stay in front of them, and caution was applied. Another lap for him to be in good shape.
Johnny Benson, he would be back on the lead lap because he's at the tail end of the lead lap now in the 10 car.
When you stay out on tires, and with all that stage ride that was on the track and running them down pit road, it takes a few laps for these guys that didn't change tires to keep going. That's what's happening with pit road.
Jimmy Johnson's car pushed back to the garage area as this lead battle stays side by side.
Larry, I contend to look at Spencer running as good as he is because, man, he smacked that fence down there earlier. He got that left front road, that rear on it.
I would say he is manhandling that race car.
And he can do it.
I'm so impressed with the racetrack here. It has those two grooves. I mean, Ward Burton just hanging his own up there on the older tires in the second groove. But right now, the biggest problem these two guys have is Ricky Creighton in that 32 car. He is right with them now.
You know who's smiling is track president Clay Campbell. Somebody in Texas said that maybe Martinsville wasn't a fit site for Winston Cup racing anymore. Right here, anybody who's watching this will disagree. What a great place for side-by-side racing.
Well, it is, and what the problem is for Terry, he needs to be able to, right here, now watch, he needs to get up in the front of Ward. Now he'll drive off and lead him because he can use the whole racetrack. When you're pinched down like that by the car on the outside, you can't get back in the front quick enough. Ward's going to pay a big price here. Here comes Ricky Creighton. Dale Jr.'s taking a look.
For more on Terry Labonte, Dick Bergman.
Well, there's really 8 announcers on this broadcast. At least that's what folks are hearing at home. But I'm listening to brother Bobby Labonte, and there's actually 9 because a couple of moments ago he came on his radio and said, "Go, Terry, go!" He's sort of announcing the race and cheering brother Terry Labonte on. He's having a terrific run here this afternoon. I don't think there's a person in the grandstands or a competitor that would like to see Terry Labonte win a race. Jim Long, his new crew chief this year, they've come together so well building those new race cars. And you saw the teamwork. You saw those guys cheer when they beat everybody off pit road.
And his last 3 finishes have shown the way that team has come along and improved this season.
It takes us a little bit of time, not a whole lot.
Oh, Frank Kimlin, 26 car.
He's up against that outside wall hard.
No caution. Just bounced off, kept going.
I think these cars, you drive in real hard into the corner sometime with all that brake on there, you lock up that right front and slide up into the fence.
And right now, probably a big problem he's got is he picked up all that trash on those hot tires when he was all the way up against the wall. Rubber just stacks up there. The hot tires picks all that up.
10th place battle right here. Sterling Marlin trying to get past Tony Stewart has just gotten past Sterling Marlin. Matt Kenseth, they're the 2-point leaders, still running nose to tail. Marlin and Kenseth right now in 11th and 12th.
Kenseth's kind of doing what a good point producer would do, staying out of trouble, doesn't have his car all beat up, and hanging with the guy that's ahead of him in the points.
And unlike so many racetracks we go to, listen to Matt Kenseth, how early on the straightaway he rolls out of that throttle.
That's his part of saving those brakes. And here he goes up the hill. Somebody got into him, I think.
Looks like the 23 Hut Strickland.
Yeah, sent him up the hill and bam.
You know, give Hut Strickland a call. He's a lead lap car, running in 21st spot. And oh my goodness, what's come out of the grandstand? You know, there's not a beach in a couple of 100 miles from here.
This ain't no beach party, I can tell you. No. I don't know who thought that, but
if that beach ball stays out there long, it's going to have a short life.
Yeah, it's in turn 2. It's about to become flat standing.
What was that ball that Dale Jr. had in his car with for a while?
Oh, Wilson, the ball.
Wilson.
That's not Wilson.
That's Summer Wilson.
Ward Burton, that 22 car, I think he's really paying the price of those older tires. I know we've had cars out there, hey, we got a battle for the lead, guys. Going off into turn 3, Ricky Craven, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to stay on that rear bumper. They got Terry Labonte kicked up to the high side.
You see how that car on the inside, it just forces that car on the outside. If you go in there real hard like Ricky did, you're going to force that guy up. And look at his team. Are they excited?
Clear corner, clear.
And by the way, it was Michael Waltrip that ate the beach ball in the back street.
Is that the guy?
Oh, yeah. This is the 7th Martinsville race that Ricky Craven has led, and it's the 3rd time this year that he's been in the lead.
I think how Terry lost the lead was Jimmy Spencer winning the first turn down here. That may be here shortly.
See if the lead changes first as Earnhardt Jr. goes after Craven. But Craven takes it deep into turn 1.
His car's been working as good as anybody's up there in that second groove. You see Terry Labonte in that 5 car trying to stay latched on to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He opens that door. He wants to follow him through. Well, we saw the same thing a while ago with Terry Labonte and Ward Burton. That second groove's working just as good as that bottom groove.
Maybe just a little bit of contact there. And we documented it throughout the day. Ricky Craven's car is set up to run the high groove. He started well back in the field, 18th, and had to pass those cars at the start of the race on the outside, so that's where they set their car up to run.
But when we talked to him Friday night, he didn't seem too concerned about qualifying 18th. He knew this race car was just as good as it was when he won here in October. All right, this was a while ago. Jimmy Spencer out there trying to get his lap back. Pulls down in front of Terry Labonte. Gets a little bit loose right there. Terry Labonte had to get out of it. Ricky Craven was able to stay in it and keep that momentum right here. See Terry Labonte wiggling as well. Passes Terry Labonte, takes Dale Earnhardt Jr. with him.
There are very few drivers here who can get up and run the outside, and the one who has been most successful at it today is the one that's in the lead, Newburgh, Maine's Ricky Craven, your leader at Martinsville as we close up on 300 laps. Worked it up to a 7/10 of a second lead for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Darrell, here, 7/10 of a second is a lot.
It's a great lift. He's got some clean air, the brakes, the engine, everything is functioning at their absolute best right now. But I tell you, Tony Stewart, in my opinion, he's probably just getting tired. He killed that engine leaving the pits there a while ago. That's a sign of getting tired, and now he's falling back into the grass with some of these other cars. It's hot back in there. It's hot out there today, boys, and this is one of the toughest races we run on the floor's getting hot and getting tired.
He has fallen to 9th place. Bobby Hamilton outside pole sitter 10th. Atkins and Mark Martin. There's your second, third, following.
Interval's definitely growing on Terry Labonte in the 3rd place car, the 5 car.
Well, this is when it's easy. You're out front, you got a good race car. Now you just kind of keep that guy behind you just far enough back there so that when you get into traffic, you don't have to worry.
Two fellows that are coming into the picture, though, are right behind Terry Labonte, and there they are. Ricky Rudd, the black car, and the green car, Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte started 15th. He's just been quietly working his way to the front. Kind of one car about every 25 laps here he is in the top 5.
Yeah, and Ricky Rudd's another one of those. He's a veteran driver. He's won here. He knows what it takes, and you got to keep the fenders on it and stay out of trouble until about 150 to go. Then you gas it up.
8th place. Stewart passing Rusty Wallace.
I used to love to run this race, and I didn't even want him to call my name until there was 200 laps to go. At 300 lap mark, I like to say, you know, he's in the top 10. With 100 to go, I like to be in the top 5, and all of a sudden, you win the race.
You like him to say, now, where did he come from?
Where did that guy come from? How did he do that?
The only name name that's been called more often than Darrell's here is Richard Petty's. Darrell has 11 wins. Richard, incredibly, piled up 15 victories here at Martinsville.
Next to Daytona, this used to be one of the biggest paired races there was.
There's Mark, his teammate Kurt Busch in the 97 car, Mark in the 6 car. Mark, he started back in 17th, and Kurt Busch started 20th. Now these guys worked their way up to 12th and 13th. They have their teammate Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, coming here second in points. He's up there banging on the door of the top 10 and 11.
Mike, I'm just following a little bit. This race used to pay $50,000 to win. And Daytona only paid like $100,000 to win. So this was a really big paying race all through the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
And this has always been a family racetrack as we watch the Roush family of drivers, 3 out of the 4. Jeff Burton back in 16. Jimmy Johnson back on track. H. Clay Earls and Bill France Sr. and a couple of partners built this track. And the Earls family, Clay Earls' grandson, Clay Campbell, now runs the Speedway. And it's still a nice little family racetrack to come to.
You know, I want to talk about Ward Burton, Tommy Baldwin as crew chief. They made that strategy to stay out. They definitely paid the price for a few positions. They fell back to about 6, and they've kind of settled in there. And this is a good run for Ward. He started back in 36, last car to get in on time. He gave up 4 or 5 positions by not pitting, but he's settled in there at 6th place right now.
It's not easy for him either because he's working hard down in there. You see his hands flying all over the place, which is kind of what you do here.
And I think what happened, Darrell, he had 25 laps on his tires. Those guys had fresh tires. They were good for a little bit. Then things kind of evened out a little bit after 4 or 5 got by.
Let's get on down in there with you. Whoop. A couple of little whoop-de-doos off of turn 4 there, and here I go.
Larry, I like that call Tommy made because he's drifted back only 4 spots. Look what happened when Rusty pitted earlier and came out in 21st spot, and it took him forever to gain a couple of positions.
Track position better than fresh tires.
Yeah, the 32, you saw that. He just comes across that patch, gets a little wee bit loose, and look who's there to get all over him.
You got to remember Johnny Benson out in front of him, 10 car, still trying to stay on the tail of the lead lap, just praying and hoping for a caution.
But you know, I was talking about Dale Jr. Somebody said, what did I think his chance would be? I said, he's got a great car, he's going to run good, but I don't think he's got the patience for this kind of racetrack. He's proven me wrong.
Yeah, he's never shown it here before, though. This is the first race he has shown that. Qualified good, staying up there all day.
He's sitting there like a seasoned veteran, just kind of riding along, taking care of his stuff. Car not all beat up. Look at it. They may not, well, it's too early to say. I wouldn't want to jinx him, but they might get to run that body again.
Nose to tail for the lead, Craven and Earnhardt Jr. Last night they named a street for Ward Burton in his hometown of South Boston, Virginia. The Daytona 500 winner. Wonder what the speed limit is on that street.
185.
That'd be good.
You got it bad. That bad when you got it.
Welcome back to Martinsville. Ricky Craven continues to lead Dale Earnhardt Jr. by less than half a second. Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, and Bobby Labonte are the top 5.
Mark Martin's off the pace going down the back, guys. I don't know what happened, but he slowed way down there. Yeah, he's dropped up. Jimmy Johnson's got a problem.
Johnson's been in and out of the garage with rear end trouble.
Ignition again, and 36 in the fence up here in turn.
Oh, Kenny Schrader.
3 and 4. I think he's going to bring out the caution. Yes, he is.
Won't run, will it?
Yeah, caution is out.
Caution's out.
Won't run. What's wrong with it? Okay.
And for the lead, Johnny Benson will get back on the lead lap as they come to caution.
Won't run. See if they can come out and push you. It won't run. Oh, we're going to have to push. We're going to have to push you.
There we've run about 54 laps.
They got on the brake.
Listen to Kenny Schrader there and try to tell Newt Morris, crew chief, what might be going on. We ran 54 laps on these tires. I get you 4 fresh ones on there right now. This thing should go green, or we won't keep track position. I'll give you 4 tires right now. We can go to the end of this thing.
Give me 4 now.
4 tires full of fuel.
Fill me up with fuel. Then we can argue about where we're going to take any or 2 or whatever if we get another one.
I'm going to pack the pit stuff up.
Schrader's car appeared to just shut off. And it's Brecker's trying to come to his aid.
Wrecker-Aid.
Pit road not yet open, and pit road will be open this time around.
That's different than Gatorade, right?
Very much so.
There they come. Everybody coming to pit road.
Well, Schrader's misfortune was his teammate's good fortune. Johnny Benson gets back on the lead lap.
Well, Schrader started the day off, with the left rear tire going down, getting all wrapped around on the car and catching on fire. So he's just about used that M&M car up today.
Every car on the lead lap did hit pit road here with about 173 laps to go.
Dick Bertrand.
A couple of laps ago, Bobby Labonte keyed his radio and said, put 4 tires on it at the next pit stop, take a pound of air out of each of the 4 tires. A few moments later, he said that it'll be 2 tires the next time for the win. To Matt.
Dick here in the 32 pit of Ricky Craven. No adjustments. They are going to go with 4 tires. A little bit of trouble on the left front. A little bit of trouble on the left front. Jim Carbone had trouble getting the left front off. As the 20's out, the 5's out, the 18's out. Finally, the 32's down and away to Steve.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said he liked his race car. They changed 4 tires, made no other changes to that number 8 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. said it's just a tad snug, but I like it. Don't change it.
Boy, Tony Stewart, their group did their job on pit road. He came in 6th, goes out 3rd, and Terry Labonte, that group, they keep cooking on pit road today as well. That 5 group.
That pit crew will step up every time if that driver's doing good out on the racetrack. When that car runs good, everything works good.
New leader, Dave Blaney, assumes the front spot here at Martinsville, and now he will pit and give that up. But Blaney has led a lap for the Jasper team. That'll put Dale Earnhardt Jr. out front. And we've completed 328 laps in the Virginia 500, presented by Yamaha. We restarted just a couple of laps ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wasted no time in getting past traffic in the former Hermie Sadler and holding off Jimmy Spencer, who was trying to get back a lap, and he is 2 down.
It takes a couple of laps, as I said earlier, for these tires to really start to grip. And boy, you slip and slide till they do.
Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's built a second or third lead over second place Terry Labonte, but he has 3 lap cars behind him. Jimmy Spencer in the 41, Hermie Sadler in the 02, and Buckshot Jones in the 44, sandwiched between him and Terry Labonte.
There's Labonte.
I'll tell you what, guys, Dale Jr.'s car is awesome. I mean, he's running well. He's staying out of trouble. He's done a great job today.
How about the Labonte brothers? Terry started 4th. Bobby started 15th. They're running 2nd and 3rd. Matt?
Might go to that last caution. I talked to Jim Long, who came on board the 5 team this year to try to help rejuvenate the 5 car in Terry Labonte, and certainly doing that. One of the first cars out of their stable that he's had a big hand in, and it's paying off today. No changes on the 5 car on this last stop to Steve Burns.
Matt Rusty Wallace came in. The adjustments they made around a bite in, 1 pound out of the left front, 4 tires. But he also doesn't like the lead placement that they put in the frame rails, the location of the lead.
Well, that's hard to change during the race.
Yeah, what are you going to tell him, crew chief?
Make a note the next time we come back here. Right. And these cars have to weigh 3,400 pounds. They hold about 350 pounds of lead to get it to that. They'll weigh about 3,000 to 3,100 pounds without the lead. And you move that lead in the frame rails forwards and backwards to get more nose weight or less nose weight. And normally they'll run about 51% nose weight. The more nose weight you put in it, the more the car will push. The more rear percentage you put in it, it'll be loose. I have a feeling Rusty may feel like since he's been loose that they don't have enough nose weight in that car.
I think that's his problem.
Jerry Nadeau has a problem. He's slowed coming off turn number 2 and dropped right down to the inside of the racetrack. Now almost got run over by Steve Park. Now he'll come to the pits probably this time.
I heard him tell his crew chief Tony Furr it just won't run.
Battery. I said, guarantee you, it's got a battery on that.
You talked about it earlier. All these blowers, all the things we're requiring, the electrical system, it'll just, if the alternator's putting out not enough amperage, it'll just draw that battery down, or if you have an alternator go out.
Jeff, how about it?
Larry, just listen to him come down the back straightaway. It sounds exactly like you're saying. The motor almost sounds like it's down on 2 cylinders. It's either got a battery going bad, the car's not firing properly, or he does have bigger problems, which are going to be obviously brought down.
the reason I went right to the battery is because I've had that happen here, and it feels just like it's out of fuel. You first step down on the throttle, kind of act like it's going to go, but when it needs the juice to keep going, it's not there.
And the battery in these cars are in front of the left rear tire. You can change it in a hurry. That's about all you can do. Have a good fresh charged battery to put back in there.
Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte has to move to second and sets out after Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's now built up a 2.5-second lead. Nick Berger.
So Bobby Labonte started this race in 15th spot, and the pit stops have been a very key ingredient to having picked off so many cars. Last week in Texas, his pit stops were, how do we say it kindly, they just weren't very good. So crew chief Jimmy Makar put the whole team on notice, told them all this week, no one's job was safe with pit stops like that. This crew has responded today. Every pit stop where they haven't pulled the rubber out of the spring has been under 15 seconds, and on that last pit stop they pulled the rubber and picked up a spot. Labonte, great pit stops today, Mike.
That will make the difference, especially here, Derek.
Yeah. Life gets too good sometimes. That car's run so well, all of a sudden things start to fall apart, and you look around and it's not just the driver, it's not just the car, it's the car, the driver, the crew, everybody's letting you down just a little bit. And Jimmy Makar's got to go in there and say, hey boys, step it up.
As that fell up on the box, Joe Gibbs knows well, you want to keep your job in the starting lineup, you got to do better. He won't be afraid to make a change if he thinks it'll help the team.
There he is, Coach Joe Gibbs, Super Bowl wins, owns the 20 car, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, the 18 car. They're running second, third right now. He's got to be smiling.
He'd like to see that gap on the stopwatch narrow up, though. It's 3.2 seconds now. Earnhardt to Bobby Labonte. Now Terry Labonte. Going to have to hold off Ricky Rudd and Ricky Craven as Rudd passes Craven for 5th place. 150 laps to go at Martinsville Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to hold them on. Welcome back to Martinsville. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now 3.6 seconds up on the Joe Gibbs team of Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart, running second and third. But we still have 24 cars on the lead lap, and some of the infighting back and forth has been pretty severe toward the back of that group.
Yeah, just up ahead of our leader, there's about 10 or 15 cars, and they're having a heck of a battle. That's teammates right there. You're a little quicker than I am, bud. Go ahead.
Do us any good to run side by side. Dale Earnhardt Jr. just gets smaller and smaller.
That's exactly right. Good call.
And again, not to jinx anybody, but there is a Chevrolet out front. They have not won yet this year.
Well, they got that kick out. I don't care how fast you're going. Air's out there moving around. That little bit can help.
A little more front down for us. Let them stretch that car out a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, starting in Texas.
And particularly here when you got so much of the front end open. You got brake ducts and the grill and everything wide open here. So airflow over that nose is important.
Right now, he is fixing to get into some heavy traffic. There's about a dozen cars there just right in front of him.
Got 142 to go.
This is where he really, we talked about his patience earlier. This is where he really has to step that patience meter up.
It really is. And now you're sitting there, you've been sitting in that car for the last 2.5 hours. You've been hot, you get a little tired, you get a little annoyed. Got a great car. Just be cool.
And you've got a big lead to work with.
That's
Steve,
right.
what's their plan?
Well, Mike, this morning I talked to crew chief Tony Uri Sr. and I asked if he had any special pit strategy. He said if they stopped with about 160 laps to go, filled up with gas, he would try to run the rest of the way. So, very close to that. I just asked Tony Uri Jr. if they could make it, and he said we're 5 laps short, so they will have to stop one more time.
For 5 laps here with that kind of lead, I believe I could buy 5 laps, just roll out that throttle a little early, pick it up a little late, especially when you're sitting there with almost a 3-second lead.
Now, that's a crew chief story there. I'm 5 laps short. I mean, that's spreading like wildfire, you know?
But you know, the interesting thing, I talked to Tony Uri Jr., as Matt Yoakum talked about at the beginning of the show, they tested up here, and remember, yesterday's practice, it was very cool and overcast. I asked him, I said, what kind of adjustments are you going to make based on the temperature being up today? He said, we went back to our testing notes because it was very hot and sunny that day.
I bet everybody would like to look at that notebook right now.
Absolutely.
So Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. Gain right now 2.4 seconds over that orange car of Tony Stewart. That Pontiac right behind Stewart. About a second behind Bobby Labonte, his teammate. Also in a Pontiac. Fourth, Terry Labonte. Terry is 4.6 seconds off the lead. He has Ricky Rudd right behind him in fifth. The driver who had the best car here in the first half of the race is sixth. That will be Ricky Craven. Here in the 32, seventh outside pole sitter Bobby Hamilton, 55. Eighth, our point standing runner-up, Matt Kenseth. You see there from the rear bumper of Hamilton. Right behind him, his Roush Racing teammate is Kurt Busch and Mark Martin.
One thing that happens with the outside groove on any racetrack, early in the race and through the middle of the race, it's really, really good because nobody's running up there. So if your car will work, they don't have all the rubber, it's not as slick. But as soon as other people see what you're doing, they emulate what you're doing. First thing you know, that groove deteriorates and you're back to the bottom.
Y'all talk about a guy that's back on the lead lap. Now he's up there in 12th, all over the back of Rusty Wallace's rear bumper right here. Remember, it wasn't that many laps ago. He was a lap down, fighting to get that lap back.
Turn 2, Hermie Sadler.
Caution is out. Caution is out. But Dale Jarrett's back on the lead lap now, battling to get back in the top 10 after being a lap down not that many laps ago.
That caution saved Jeff Green, Stacy Compton, and Dave Blaney from going a lap down. Brett Bodine and Robbie Gordon.
And Spencer. And I don't know if Elliott made or not. It'd be a close one on him.
Elliott Sadler.
Oh, no, he couldn't get stopped and ran into the back of the 11 car.
Hermie Sadler trying to get things turned around. Can't quite complete the U-turn, or the bootleg turn.
If his 21 car got back there, it was going to be mighty, mighty close. Here comes Spencer. He's going to make it okay. Here comes the line, and no. Didn't quite make it.
So Hermie Sadler brings out the 9th caution of the day here at Martinsville Speedway. Here is the pit stop shuffle. Bobby Labonte out very quickly. 4 tires for Tony Stewart and 4 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Ricky Craven's stop also took a while, so the field has really jumbled up as a result of this pit stop.
But with all these cars coming to pit road with 133 laps to go, we know they can make it the distance. No more is fuel an issue.
No, it's a perfect time to have a caution. Because now, no matter what happens, more likely you're going to stay on the racetrack.
But with this far to go in the race, Darrell, would you gamble with 2 tires?
Oh, no. I would have took 4 right here. Because
Steve Burns.
Well, thanks, Mike. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in. They took 4 tires, but they had a problem. Lug nuts fell off the left front wheel. A little bit of a slow stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They can go the rest of the way on gas. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, a flawless stop by Tony Stewart's crew. 4 tires, no changes. They took on 4 tires, Dick, while several other teams took on 2.
Bobby Labonte's crew picked up the right side tires, and that was it. They put 1 round in the right rear of the car. They had another great stop. He left the pits with a lead. And what they did, they put a round in the right rear. That frees that car up because they knew those 2 right side tires was going to tighten it up, so they freed it up with a chassis adjustment. And I think they had their mind made up on 2 tires when they pitted the last time on 324. We heard the report from the pits.
Well, 127 laps from now, we'll know if it was the right strategy.
Well, you got to think about, well, when am I going to take 2? What are my tires going to be like when I take 2? What are my left sides going to be like? So you put them on, and then that gives you the option to do something.
Rusty Wallace right with him. Bobby Hamilton now 3rd. Ricky Rudd 4th. Tony Stewart, Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mark Martin, and Ricky Craven.
And the thing that Bobby Labonte has going for him with the 2 tires, Rusty Wallace and the 2 car behind him took 2 right sides as well. So that's good for Bobby Labonte. And Darrell, as you well know, when you put 2 fresh right sides on, what left sides that have a lot of air pressure, it takes a few laps for that car to even turn and even grip the racetrack.
Yeah, and the driver will say, you know, it's a good call. Car feels pretty good. Then he'll run along a little bit away, and he said, you know, maybe we should have taken it forward.
Well, coming off turn 4, Dale Jarrett lifted the whole back end of Elliott Sadler's car right up off the ground last time by.
Poor Elliott Sadler, he's just had one of those days. Everybody's in his way.
Feels like he has a bullseye on him. Rusty Wallace Wallace. He took the position getting into turn 3. Bobby Labonte in 18 scoots up. Rusty Wallace will take the lead here at the start-finish line.
Yeah, you just got to be so careful when you're the leader and somebody's under you like that. You just can't take a chance on cutting down in front of them.
Look at Bobby Hamilton in the 55 starting to work that high side. He pulls up alongside Bobby Labonte down the backstretch.
Carries it in there good and hard on the outside. Makes it stick. Gets those left wheels down there where you need it in that groove where they need to be.
Car sticking real good in that second groove, but we're late in the race. I think more and more rubber's been laid down. Look at him. He's just driving right around these cars on the outside.
Well, now's when you find out how good somebody's car is. We've got less than 100 laps, or we've got 125 laps to go, and if the brakes are good, the car's still running good, everything's working good, now's when you get up and get after it.
The car that was the best of the first half of the race, Ricky Craven, just had a bit of a slow stop, taking 4 tires, and now Craven's in mid-pack in 9th place.
And I can't tell you how, well, I can't tell you, it's just almost impossible to drive by these guys unless you can get up on the outside like Bobby Hamilton did. We saw Craven do that earlier, but he doesn't seem to be able to do it now.
Well, I think, Darrell, part of it is, as you said, that upper groove has come in and more people are able to run well now up there than they were at the start of the race.
But how many times here, Darrell, we've talked about it a couple times today, the first 300 laps, the track, it changes when it gets to the last couple of 100 laps of this race. More rubbers laid down and start stacking up. That split 2 we're looking at right now, what that is, that's a speed right down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. There you see Bobby Hamilton about over a mile an hour faster than Rusty Wallace.
Well, I've never thought Rusty had a really good car all day. He seems to have struggled just about all day long. So I think Bobby will be able to get right by him when he gets up to him.
This is the 37th race at Martinsville for Rusty Wallace. And of those 37, this is the 25th race that he has led.
Now, split 3, that would be at the end of the backstretch right there. Rusty Wallace 4 miles an hour faster, but that probably means Rusty just stayed in the throttle a little longer getting into the corner. Didn't back off as early.
Rusty's driving in hard, but Bobby's coming through the center and off hard.
Picking that throttle up and staying in the middle of the corner.
That's what you want to be able to do here. That'll pay off as they go along for Bobby Hamilton. All driving in hard does is make you use more brake and get the front end to get the tire slide that's hard on the front tire. See, Bobby rolls into the turn slow and easy, but see how quick he is right through the center? It's almost, I mean, he picked up almost a car length on him getting in the center of the corner. Same thing down here, watch.
Steve?
Gary Nadeau has fallen out of this race, but he is standing by in Jeff Gordon's pitch. He's got the helmet on, the Hans device on. He may replace Jeff Gordon. Remember, the power steering went out on that 24 car a long time ago early in this race.
Hamilton on the outside for the lead.
Now, what we need to document, our guys in the pit road keep feeding us information. He changed 2 tires as well. They had already tried it early in the race. It didn't look like it worked that well, but getting that track position late in the race, look at that car biting up off the corner right there, man.
He's got a great forward. The car just really getting good acceleration forward, and that's where he's beating Rusty right now.
Well, Darrell, you learned a few things in yesterday's truck race. Andy Petrie, who owns Hamilton's car, drove in that race, and maybe he learned a few things too.
Yeah, Andy had a great run in the truck race, and he said everything he did to his truck is what Bobby told him to do. And so I think that transferred over to the Cup car. And he's long gone, guys. I mean, he is fast. And I think if you ask Bobby what makes him good here, he'd tell you it's his shock package that makes him good here.
Hamilton's lead increases. It was 0.6 of a second at the line.
Yeah, I think Rusty will really, I think he'll fall back now. There's cars that are better than him.
Darrell, if we stay green for a while, it's going to be a while before those drivers that took on 4 tires get anywhere near Bobby Hamilton. First, second, fourth, sixth, and eighth drivers all over 40. When we started this race, half the top 10 was over 40, half the top 10 aged 30 or younger.
Now, what would you say about a graphic like that? It's a lot of sprinters right there.
There's that.
You gotta have sprinters to win Martinsville.
Bobby Hamilton has Andy Petrie's Chevrolet out front here at Martinsville. He is now almost a full second ahead of Rusty Wallace. 390 97 laps complete at Martinsville, 103 to go among our Cook family of drivers. Bobby Labonte now third and trying to be second on Rusty Wallace. Ricky Rudd in fourth, Tony Stewart in fifth. Dale Jarrett back up on the lead lap. And John Andretti out of the race. And as we told you at the top of the day, Kevin Harvick has been parked by NASCAR. He was parked yesterday during the Craftsman Truck Series race and not permitted to compete today. It was not officially a suspension, so it could not be appealed. NASCAR has sat him down for actions in a prior Busch race and in yesterday's truck race, and not permitted him to race in the Winston Cup event today. So Chris Wallace is driving that car, and they've had a variety of problems. Or 10 laps down after changing a sway bar.
Boy, Pablo Labonte is working on the Rusty Wallace, but he just can't. Rusty's got him pinned down on the inside, and Bobby can't get back in the throttle quick enough to make the pass. He's getting the nose under him right here.
Yeah, drifted up, but he's getting just enough bite off the corner. He can beat him down the next straight.
I think he might have him this time if Rusty will give him enough room. And he just barely gives him enough room. Keeps him pinned down where he can't get back in the throttle. If he could get back in there and jump up in front of him, he'd run off and leave him.
Rusty especially gets off turn 2 a little better than turn 4.
He's taking that high line off and gives him a little better run down the straightaway. Bobby's down there bogged down. Again, he's going to have a shot at him here. If he can get up there far enough, he can slide him up himself.
Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, trying to get to Bobby Labonte's rear bumper like we've talked so much today. Bobby Labonte ever opens that door under Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd wants to be able to follow him through there.
I think Bobby will eventually work his way by. He keeps inching a little bit further ahead every time. He gets in front, he'll be fine.
But those cars that took on 4 tires are not making any inroads into these front few positions.
Larry, how many times have we seen that this year? Guys stay out on tires and get 2 tires. The guys get 4 and you think they're going to have a huge advantage, and it never pays off.
The competition is just so close. Look at qualifying. The top 36 cars, 2.5 tenths of a second. 2.5 tenths. You can't even think about that short of a time.
Well, Bristol, how many laps did Kurt Busch run on that set of tires?
170, I think it was.
A lot.
This group right here, this is second all the way through 7th right here, just right together.
Bobby Labonte's cars accelerated off that corner from in the area of the left rear wheel.
You know, when I started driving, I had the Gatorade car, and it was green, and nobody would even park beside that car. They didn't want to be near that car. Said it was bad luck. I think it'd be hard to sell that old theory today.
It was a long-held racing superstition that the color green was
trouble down here. Spence takes out
gets
32.
Ricky Craven. 32 car. Caution is out.
The 9th caution of the day. Now Craven was on the lead lap, make that the 10th caution of the day. Craven was on the lead lap. Spencer was 1 lap down. And Bobby Hamilton comes around to take the caution. No one contests him to get a lap back. Ricky Craven will go a lap down as a result of contact with Jimmy Spencer in turn 4.
I didn't see what caused Spencer to spin, what caused him to get Craven to get involved, but Spencer tried to keep the motor revved up and spin all the way around and keep going, but he didn't quite make it and slid up in front of Ricky Craven. Spencer's had an exciting day, I gotta say.
The pit board's out for Bobby Labonte. Larry, do you stop?
Well, I'm just sitting here figuring the tires. You know, you take Bobby Hamilton and Bobby Labonte, they're sitting there with about 75 laps on those left sides, and we're going to have about 90 laps to go. Matt, what's the leaders going to do?
Well, that was a hot topic of conversation on the 55 Teams radio, Larry. Charlie Presley asked Bobby, do you want to pit? He says, you know what? He goes, I finally feel like I've got my best set of tires. Charlie says, well, let's gamble. Let's just stay out and roll the dice.
That's all you can do now, guys. I mean, you can't come in now. Look, there are 23 cars on the lead lap. You take 4 tires, you start 23rd, you can forget it.
Pit road is open. Looks like most of the leaders are going a little bit. They are coming to pit road. They all line.
Well, if one does, they all do.
There's what happened to Spencer and Craven. They're all on pit road.
The leader pretty well dictated that one.
Now, Jeff Burton in the 99, he was back there in the about the 16th position. He elected to stay out. He is the only lead lap car that stayed out, Dick Burton.
Well, just a moment ago, Bobby Labonte came on the radio and said, what do you think about 4? His crew chief, Jimmy Maycar, said, I didn't hear you. He took right side tires, and that's it. Matty.
Dick, they changed their mind because they felt like everybody else was going to come in and not going to be a sitting duck, so they only took on 2 tires again for the 3rd time today to Steve Burns.
most relieved on pit road. Charlie Presley, he's the most relieved because his car will be second.
I tell you, look at the damage that Rusty's got on his car now. He's going to have to come back into pits.
Yes, he will.
They made heavy contact. Made that with Dale Jr., they said.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and 8 car.
Let's see where Dale Jr.'s got the damage.
Steve?
Well, guys, it was not, he almost hit Dale Earnhardt Jr., but when he tried to avoid him, he got hit on the right front by another car exiting pit road. So he missed the 8 car, but when he slowed down, he got hit. I believe it was the 4 car.
Yeah, they'll have to come in and get that sheet metal around that right front, out from around it.
Now, here's the 4 car. Mike Skinner pulling out.
Oh, yeah. Rusty just drove right into him, actually.
Yep.
But he had to. He was trying to make a sharp turn out from behind the 8 car.
Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, now there's the contact. Look where Earnhardt Jr.'s car is, just over the line with the right rear. That's barely legal, right where he is getting service, but it sure doesn't leave a lot of room for folks to get out behind him.
And in Rusty's defense, I mean, he's sitting in there. Let's look at this replay right here. Ricky Craven, Jimmy Spencer in the 41 spinning around.
Just spun right in front of him.
But in Rusty's defense, Darrell, he's sitting in there. He has a full face helmet on. He has a head and neck restraint device. He has all these headrests. It's up to the spotter and the crew chief to make him aware of cars that's coming down pit road.
Oh, I see what happened there now. 32 did turn the 41 around.
View from Dale Jarrett. Jeff Burton is our leader. He did not pit. Ricky Craven has gone a lap down. And Rusty Wallace has some right side damage.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't come back in. The 4 car's got a tire down now, I think.
Has a left front down.
Yeah, left front. He's going to have to come back.
And that would be from the contact on pit road with Rusty Wallace. We're going racing too.
Now here's something new after the checkered flag. The coverage continues over on Speed Channel with the Winston Cup wrap-up. The best post-race coverage anywhere, from the highs to the lows and all in between. The Winston Cup wrap-up covers it all and only on Speed. To get Speed Channel, 888-22-SPEED. They restarted with 88 laps to go. Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Terry Labonte.
Jeff Burton has about 30 laps on his tires. Bobby Hamilton up in that high groove trying to get that bite up off the corner. He got a good bite up there down the back straightaway. Gets in the back of Jeff Burton just a little bit.
Burton's trying to get out of his way. He tried to turn to the inside there to get out of his way. They almost made a little contact.
For the lead, Hamilton takes over. He was leading before the caution, and now goes from second back to the lead.
But his crew did their job. He came on the pit road. He was the first one off the pit road because of Jeff Burton staying out.
Stewart now outside of Burton for second.
Right now, Bobby Hamilton, he has that clear racetrack in front of him. That's a pretty sight right here with about 85 laps to go.
And the way that car is shooting off the corner, he is just, I'm telling you, he's going to be a mighty hard man to beat.
Oh, Spencer and Kurt Busch just got together, and that accordioned the field right behind them.
Ricky Rudd got a little damage, I think, from that little incident.
Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is back in 10th place.
Well, Rudd came in running 4th, so I got to believe he must have taken 4 tires there.
Yeah, it put him way back in the field. Yeah, it wasn't that they had a bad pit stop. They just took 4 tires. Steve Burton.
Yeah, I couldn't hear exactly what you said down here, checking some stuff out in the 28-bit, but they did, in fact, take 4 tires. And apologize if that's what you just said right here, just checking it out.
Yeah.
We suggest and you confirm. That's
Still there.
Rudd outside of Bill Elliott now.
Clear all clear.
Bobby Labonte wants Jeff Burton's position, which is 3rd. And right behind him, Jeff Gordon and Darrell Gordon continuing to fight that car with a broken power steering.
You know, folks, I can't tell you how hard that car would be to drive with the power steering not working. It's like trying to drive a truck. It's got so much caster in it. Caster on the front end setting. It's so hard to steer that, well, I'm telling you, he's doing a whale of a job to hang on to it.
Well, in your family passenger car, if your ignition shuts off, the motor shuts off, and you're still trying to roll. You see how hard it is to turn that thing. That's what he's trying to do out there at well over 100 miles an hour in all of these laps that's left to run.
Folks, no matter how bad you have it, don't try that.
Try this at home.
Let's go to pit road.
Bobby Labonte has never won a Winston Cup race here. He won a Busch Series race here. And just a few moments ago, he heard his crew chief, Jimmy Makar, explain why he did not get the foreign tires he used discussing. And the reason, according to Makar, was the other guys who'd done it on the last pit stop didn't go anywhere. So he took just right sides, and that was it. Labonte running well. He's in third spot. The match.
Dave, while Labonte still searches for his first short track win, Stewart has 4. In fact, he's a former winner here in Martinsville. His crew chief, Greg Zimbinelli, knows how important track position is here in Martinsville, especially on that last pit stop. That's why they took on 2 tires. Also, they took on 4 tires in the previous stop, so their left sides were going to be good. No adjustments for Stewart. But remember, DW, his car does take about 15 to 20 laps to come in after each pit stop.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. I don't know if it's going to come in time to catch Bobby Hamilton today or not. Boy, he has pulled out to a great lead.
Instead of Bobby, it's bye-bye Hamilton. 77 laps to go, and that 55 has opened up a 1.5-second lead over Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart has about caught Bobby Hamilton. They are now only 3 car lengths apart for the lead with 70 laps to go. Now, moments ago, Mike Skinner was the victim in this incident coming out of turn number 4. Watch right there. Kyle Petty bumps Steve Park into the wall. Steve Park comes around into Mike Skinner, who goes for the wild ride.
Spins it around, keeps it foot in it. Spins it around again. Hit it in the right direction. We stayed racing.
And Tony Stewart, going into turn 1, takes the lead from Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Labonte in third. Terry Labonte. Terry there in fourth. Fifth, Matt Kenseth, the number 2 point man, and Dale Jarrett has climbed to 6th. Jeff Jarrett's just 7th.
Ever since Jarrett got back on the lead lap, his car has looked really, really good. I mean, he has been moving forward to the field.
And I've been watching the scoring monitor. He's in clean traffic. He's about a 10th quicker than either Tony Stewart or Bobby Hamilton.
And remember, he chased down his teammate here a year ago, passed him with 5 to go to win the race.
Now right behind Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just passed Jeff Burton, trying to get back up toward the front of the field. Jr. now up to 7th. Kicks Burton to 8th. Kurt Busch is 9th. And Ricky Rudd is 10th.
And Larry, do you believe some of those crew chiefs are kind of kicking themselves for taking 4 tires?
Well, again, we have to remember last year, and I'm sure that may have been on Todd Parrott's mind, he won this race last year because of a long free run and having 4 fresh tires versus the 2 tires that Ricky Rudd, his teammate, had.
Let's see how fast they're running, and we'll do speeds at the line here.
There it is. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jarrett. Those cars with 4 fresh tires, faster speeds. And there, I think what'll make a difference is when those leaders catch traffic, the cars with 4 tires will be able to maneuver a little better. They won't be sliding around quite as much.
Yeah, they can go inside or outside. I think they should be able to.
And the thing about it, to get a caution, you know those cars with 4 tires are sitting in a much better situation.
Make a big difference as well.
Matt Kenseth is in position to cut Sterling Marlin's point lead in more than half. Right now, the positions they're running, Kenseth is 5th, Marlin is 16th, and that will only be a 30-point spread with 70 coming in here today. Here are speeds again at the start-finish line.
Hadn't said much about Kenseth today, and that's the kind of run that I like. And the number 17 car, top 5, point, racing the points.
Trap speed showed the same thing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. once again the fastest of our leaders. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, the second place.
Remember, it was a 70-point advantage for Marlin when we came to Martinsville today. And that's the way they're running right now. Jimmy Johnson was 3rd coming into the race, and he is right now in 35th place and will drop back.
You know, even though no power steering, I don't know what he's doing, but 24 car just drove by the race leader.
Bob Labonte in 18 just got by Bobby Hamilton in 55. That was for second place.
He might find out, Jeff Gordon might find out he didn't need power steering at Martinsville.
About 60 laps to go as Tony Stewart has now opened up a 1.5 second lead on his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, Bobby Labonte. The 11th caution of the day at Martinsville developed over a space of about 3 laps as Stacy Compton and Johnny Benson battled for 17th place.
Seems to be a disagreement here. Oh, well, what happened to 4 car caused the 10 Benson to slow down. Stacy got a run on him. And it's almost, and then they go in the corner, he slides up into him.
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely, he slid up into him.
Yeah.
He didn't drive.
What happened was
it wasn't quite over.
Yeah, well, what happened there, Mike, is the 4 car checked up a little bit, caused the 10 to lose some momentum. The 14 gets a run on him, then they get down here to the corner. Stacy had to go way down to the inside, get all that dirt on his tires, couldn't turn when he got to the corner.
Leaders are pitting.
Well, a lot of debate, Mike, down here in the 20 pit about whether to take tires or to stay out, keeping in mind the cars behind them. The 55 also came to take 2 tires, but the 20 decided to go for 4 at the last minute. Greg Zipadelli decided to go for 4. The 55 car looked up pit road, saw the 20 going for 4. They're going for 4 as well. The 55 was a little bit loose on that last run, Mike.
Thanks, Matt. They'll come back out. And we'll show you in real time Stacy Compton and Johnny Benson's get together as they battled on the lead lap for about 16th position. When we come back, there'll be 50 laps left to race here at Martinsville. The only cars that stopped on the lead lap were Tony Stewart and Bobby Hamilton, and they restart 13th and 14th.
Yeah, I just don't understand that strategy there at all. Now, they may make me wrong here before the day's over with, but golly, it's a bad time to take 4.
Well, they were 13th and 14th with lap traffic. That's like 26 and 27.
Yeah, we only got 50 laps to go.
And look at how much traffic those 2 cars are going to have to get through if they're going to come back to the front.
Yeah, it's not just the cars in front of them on the lead lap. It's all that lap traffic on the inside as well.
And now it's just 50 laps to go.
Yep. It's either going to be real exciting or those guys are going to get really upset with their crew chiefs.
Dick Berggren, one of the Gibbs cars came in, the other one stayed out.
Yeah, the one that stayed out is the one that's leading the race right now, Bobby Labonte, and I just climbed on top of his pit box, and I asked his crew chief, Jimmy Makar, why did you not pit? He looked at me as if I had completely lost my mind and said, track position.
Just tell me, Dick, you knew that.
Hey, and here comes Jarrett to the outside of Terry Labonte. Dale Jarrett's up to the top 5.
And just remember, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they have fresher tires than anybody right here. They got 4 fresh tires not that many laps ago.
The 28 did too, so they're in the catbird seat now, I think. The way Junior run earlier and the 88's been moving up through there, that's where your race is, I believe, is between the 8s.
But as we said all day, Darrell, catching them is one thing here. Passing them, when a car is good on the bottom, passing them is another.
88, 8, and 28 between the 8s.
Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth, Terry Labonte. Ricky Craven is up there at the front of the pack. You remember he's a lap down after that sprint with Jimmy Spencer. Dale Jarrett's come from a lap down. Leader Bobby Labonte has never won a short track Winston Cup race.
Courtesy of Tony Stewart.
races up in those first 10 cars. You've got two fellas who want to get back on the lead lap. One is Ricky Craven, and the other one who's looking over Dale Jarrett is Jimmy Spencer.
He's not looking over right now. He's driving over.
And he's proven that he wants to get back on the lead lap a whole lot worse than Dale Jarrett wants to hold him up.
And he's already made 2 laps up. He's now just 1 down. He was 3 laps down at one time.
He doesn't ever forget it. He doesn't give up. That's the good thing you can say about it.
Ricky Rudd, the 28 car to the outside of Kurt Busch. This is a battle for 6.
Looking in on the outside, got a great run, and here he's down on the outside again. Great run down into the corner. Car cuts good for him. He's back in the gas and really accelerating forward good. Car looks real good.
Right now, Ricky Rudd is the best car on the speedway, but with only 40 laps to go, will he have enough time to show it?
Oh, I think he will. There's enough beating and banging going on that he's going to get mighty close if he doesn't make it.
Terry Labonte in the 5 got real loose off turn 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes by Jimmy Spencer trying to get closer to the front. He's going to go by him as well down the front stretch.
Earnhardt Jr. restarted 7th. He is up to 3rd.
Oh, Terry shoved up the track there, and then Dale Jarrett got to run under him.
He cannot keep his car on the bottom. Right
No, it looks like he's driving it real hard, using too much brake. Whoa, they're close right there. Woo.
That's funny, Darrell. The first half of the race, you wanted that car to work on the outside to get around people. Late in the race, you want to be a bottom feeder.
That's right. They've used up that outside groove. They've got enough rubber up there now that the bottom's the place to be.
Todd Parrott, Dale Jarrett's crew chief, took the crew chief position back over last week at Texas. Dale, to be smooth, go get that 8 car.
36 laps to go. Bobby Labonte leads number 2 point man Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Martinsville. Welcome back to Martinsville. 28 laps to go. Ricky Rudd is just passed by Tony Stewart for 6th place.
Well, actually what happened was Rudd got alongside of Tony Stewart down there in turns 3 and 4, but Stewart was able to push him up a little bit and get back ahead of him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has caught Matt Kenseth. That's the battle for 2nd.
Got a good little race brewing here. 20 on the 5, 28. 8 picking up here after the 17. Goes to 20 by the 5. Ricky Rudd's right there. Probably going to make that same move here pretty shortly. Meantime, Bobby Labonte is in cruise control.
2-second lead.
Oh, here we go. Oh!
Deja vu.
Whoa, Matt Kenseth just gets underneath Jimmy Spencer.
What a deal. And Dale Jarrett, is he going to be a caution?
Yeah, got cautions on the speedway.
Dale Jarrett goes back. Boy, the 8 and 88. 8's not happy with the 88 because he passed him when the caution came out, and that's supposed to be a no-no. I don't really blame Dale Jarrett. It's late in the race. You got to take him, catch him, and pass him, and that was one of those times. But I don't think the junior's going to be happy about this.
Darrell, isn't it kind of a gentleman's agreement that unless you're a lapped car in touch with the leader, you don't race back to the flag?
Well, you don't
race
race
back. It's not the rule, is it?
You normally wouldn't pass him, but we're in 25 laps to go here. It's so hard to pass, and Junior had to check up a little bit more than Dale Jarrett, and he was able to make the pass. Probably not happy. Junior probably not happy about that, but that's the way it is.
12th caution of the day, and Ricky Craven's car has not moved from that spot in turns 1 and 2. Let's show you what happened here.
Spencer's out a little bit wide. The 32 gets under him and then tries to stay off of him. And by virtue of trying to stay off him, he gets in just enough to turn them both around.
From Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Whatever, you come through the bottom, Go up, right there, clear.
Wow. First to the bottom, then to the top.
There goes the 88.
Spun around, buddy. Spun around.
See, that's how Jarrett got by him when Earnhardt went to go to the high side around Spencer. Jarrett just can't get digging.
Kenseth, the 17 car, he was up on the dirt.
Well, he got into him right there, though. He got into the back of Jimmy Sum right there. I don't know if it hurt anything or not.
And they're going to have to sweep the bottom of the racetrack where Matt Kenseth did a little agricultural racing there up and over the curve. We'll be right back. Getting set for the restart. 21 cars on the lead lap, 20 laps to go. Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth, Dale Jarrett third, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fourth, Tony Stewart fifth, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, the top 10. Then Michael Waltrip, Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Hutch Strickland, Sterling Marlin, Johnny Benson. Here we go.
Kind of tiptoe through that first turn, get all that stuff off your tires.
Like Matt Kenseth, want to take a run getting into turn 3. He's all over the back of Bobby Labonte right here. 18 laps to go.
Can you believe that Matt Kenseth could win his third race of the year before anybody else has won 2?
And taking a huge chunk out of the point lead.
Anybody other than the point leader, Sterling Marlin.
Tony's under Dale Jr. over there going into 3. Ooh, Dale Jr. gave him enough room.
A lot of bumper tags.
That was going to get real excited. Tony's got a pretty good hot rod right now.
And he's got a lot better tires than everybody up there right now.
Well, Dale Jarrett's got good tires. And he's going to make a run on Kenseth. Give me some room, bud. Don't cut down now.
He has a position. This car get a bite up off the bottom right there. This is a battle for second.
Rusty out of the groove, goes to the tail end of the line as we watch this battle for second between the 2 Fords of Jarrett.
Kenseth would be wise just to let, if he could, let Dale Jarrett go, because it's going to drag everybody else right up in the race with him. And it's going to cost both of them a chance to race Bobby Labonte.
You know, the thing that's happened with the second group I've never seen here before.
Whoa, Buckshot Jones around. Sorry, Larry, Buckshot Jones got turned around.
Oh, he gets hit by Johnny Benson at the 10. Caution is out.
Man,
that just knocked the radiator or the oil cooler off of Jones' car.
And Jarrett's going to make another pass with the caution flag waving on the 17
Tony's
car.
The 20 as well. Looks like he's trying to.
Yeah. Everybody's racing back.
Slick track right there. Junior got into that fluid a bit as they come back to the caution.
Tony Stewart was making a run on Matt Kenseth for third. He didn't quite make it.
Well, when you get in, this is close to the end of the race. All bets are off, babe. You got to do what you got to do. Look at Kenseth. He is very unhappy with Dale Jarrett, but listen, we got 10, 15 laps to go here, man. You can't wait, can't hold back.
Buckshot Jones has taken his car to the garage. Now watch this come into the front of the frame here. Right there.
It's Kurt Busch in the 97.
Got into the 44, and he's just sitting there. But what happens, Benson was up high when he come to the corner, and he couldn't get down.
I mean, it's a big traffic jam right after a restart. Car's too wide all the way through there.
So the caution flag flies for the 13th time today at Martinsville Speedway, and we're running out of time. Just 13 laps to go. 10 laps to go. Martinsville, Virginia Speedway. The Virginia 500 presented by Yamaha on FX, and we'll have a restart coming up here shortly.
All 4 Roush cars this weekend are in the top 11. The 99 car's 11th, 97 is 9th. Mark Martin is 8th, and we got our second place man in the points running 3rd. So another stellar day for the Roush organization.
Dick Berggren.
Jimmy Makar just keyed the radio to Bobby Labonte, and he said, you know what you've got to do on this restart. He's going to be all over you like green on a leaf. To Matt.
Dick, on the second to last restart, Tony Stewart came out and said, my pedal feels good. Greg Zipadelli, crew chief, said, good, you've got to lay it all out now. And remember one thing, Stewart won 4 USAC Open Wheel Championships, racing 25 to 30 lap feature races. This is his kind of race, Mike.
You know, this will be about an 8-lap feature race. Let's see if they give one to go this time. They do not.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stage drop, and just right up out of the groove down in the 4th turn, or 3rd and 4th turn. What's going on in the hotel, boys?
All right, thanks a lot. DW and Jeff had a bit of a disagreement around lap 55. With 55 remaining, I should say, Tony Stewart, the leader, went in and pitted and came out 13th, got 4 new tires. Now he's worked his way back up to 5th. looking like a dramatic finish here. What should we look for from Tony and Jarrett, Labonte, some of the guys in front of him?
I'll tell you right now, expect the unexpected. We know what's going to happen here. Bobby Labonte's got to protect the inside, try to keep everybody getting by him there. So somebody's going to go to the outside. Now, who's it going to be? Who's going to do it first? That's going to be the key question right there. I believe it's going to be Dale Jarrett because everybody else is going to be trying to block it down low. He's got to go outside, I think, to get around.
Is there much to be said for Labonte and Stewart being teammates in this position on this track with so few laps remaining?
No. All bets are off right now, Chris. What's going to happen when they get ready to go back green? Everybody's going to say, look, pull them seat belts tight. Clear your head. Everybody get off the radio. Let's go racing. You got to get it done here. You've only got about 9 laps to go. So, all bets are off. And it's going to be a shootout at the OK Corral.
Bobby Labonte leading, 19 lead changes, already 13 leaders. Will there be one more? The Home Depot crew rooting for Tony Stewart to make his move. Let's go back upstairs for the big finish with Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds.
One thing I would not want to do is go into the third turn on the outside of somebody, because you see that little patch of stay dry down there? That could be your best friend if you were on the inside of somebody.
What's good about this restart, guys, we're under 10 laps to go. It will be a single file restart, down finger restart they call it. Lead lap cars only to the front of the pack.
All right, Fox tracks on 3 of those lead cars. Chances are somebody's feelings and somebody's fenders are about to get hurt.
I think the race, I believe the 18, I think the 18 is going to slide up, the 88 is going to get under him. The race is between 17, 20, and 8.
Just remember, Tony Stewart, he has 38 less laps on his tires than the rest of these guys. He wants to jump on it early here, getting into turn 1 all the way at the bottom. Matt Kenseth. Didn't get that run off turn 2, though. Matt Kenseth's holding on to the third spot.
Oh, Kenseth gets Jarrett.
You know what that is? That's called payback. Payback. Pass down the caution.
Yep. You beat me back to the caution, and I'm going.
But Bobby Labonte's loving this. You guys keep running side by side. I'm out here leading this race. Next time by, 5 laps to go.
Now, if Matt Kenseth's a good short track racer that I think he is, take him up a little bit.
And Hayfield's corner better than Poe.
Always have.
Kenseth to second. Don't tell me he's point racing.
Not now. Him and Jarrett aren't finished with each other yet. It's going to cost them both.
And here comes Stewart for third.
Bobby Labonte, 18 car just being smooth with that thing. He's see what's happening on the back.
Tony got sideways down on that patch. Lost a lot of ground.
4 to go. Even the spotters get up on the wheel as Kenseth and Jarrett battle side by side. Bobby Labonte's got to have a big smile.
Oh, Bobby Labonte is home free. He's just sitting out there just loving it.
3 laps to go. Stewart gets in the back of DJ in an 88 car. That helps Kenseth pull away.
And folks, this is short track racing. It's bumping and grinding. It's what you do with 5 or 6 laps to go. And the guys see how they hang on to the cars. Keep your composure. Hang on to the car and keep racing.
Stewart almost had a run underneath Jarrett. Jeff Burton around the outside of Kurt Busch picks up a position.
Trouble. 55's around.
Hamilton spins and catches Kyle Petty.
And Johnny Benson nowhere to go. No caution yet.
There's got to be a caution.
There it is. Caution is out. Caution is out. They'll be coming to the white flag.
And it'll be over because Bobby Labonte will take the white and the caution flag together and then roll around to the checker.
At Kenseth, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte, Rick McReynolds.
Bobby Labonte has never won a Winston Cup race on a short track.
And we all picked him, didn't we? We all picked him.
About 2 laps ago.
What a day. Look at that race car, not a scratch on it.
Checkered flag, Kenseth pulls up alongside to give Labonte a wave. And Bobby Labonte has his 19th career Winston Cup victory in the Virginia 500.
When I said the 8s, I left out 18, I think.
Well, by inference, he's one of those 8s. Now here's what happened to bring out the race's 14th and final caution.
Bud Strickland was into the back of the 77, which shoved him up into the back of the 55.
Nowhere for Kyle Petty and the 45 to go.
Here's Hamilton's in-car. And we'll come back and go to Victory Lane with Bobby Labonte. Welcome to our Winston Cup Series post-race show on FX from Martinsville Speedway, presented by Yamaha. We've talked to race winner Bobby Labonte. Let's meet some more of the first 5 finishers. Here's Steve Burns.
Thanks, Mike, with Matt Kenseth, who came in second. Tremendous battle all day long. Some great race cars. You and Dale Jarrett really went at it at the end.
Yeah, that's a little more physical than I like it. You never like to run into people, and you never like to get run into. And we were just both racing hard. He caught up to me and nudged me sideways a little bit, got by me, and I caught him there then and barely nudged him, and he got a little loose, and we started running side by side. So it was a great effort by my Dewalt guys. They made all the right adjustments. The engine shop's been working hard to give us engines with the right power band to be able to run on these short tracks, and that worked good for us today. And we just had a good car, and we're in the right place at the right time.
Another great run for the 17. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And Steve, another great run for Dale Jarrett, and that was a hard-fought, beaten, banging finish.
It was. That's what you expect here, though. Just when you get down to the end, and everybody's tires are pretty much worn out. But the tires worked really good, and we had a good battle. Had to come back from air wrench breaking and lap down, so I'm proud of this 4th place.
Have you seen so many good cars so close together at a finish like this here at Martinsville?
No, I don't think so. I asked one time there, one of the cautions, how many cars behind me were still in the lead lap, and they said about 15, and I was running 8th or 9th. So you had to really plan your strategy, but it just shows how tough the competition really is.
Real quick, what'd you tell Dale Earnhardt Jr. when he was sitting here?
When he was behind me, we flew up here with me. I picked him up this morning, brought him up, and I told him if he would have turned me down there like I thought he might one time, he's going to have to ride back in the luggage compartment going home with the helicopter. But we just laughed. No, it was good racing, and you knew you were going to get hit, and you knew you were going to hit people, and just got to expect that here.
Dale Jarrett, 7th straight top 10 finish at Martinsville.
Bobby Labonte the winner, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart finished 3rd, Jarrett 4th, Earnhardt Jr. 5th, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin. Some of those over 40 guys having a good day here. And the number 18 car for his big victory here today at Martinsville Speedway. Pass it on.
Bobby, come on up.
Bobby Labonte becomes the 10th different winner in the last 10 races here at Martinsville, and Dick Berggren's there to greet him.
Well, the first one here to greet him was his almost 8-year-old son, Tyler, who was right in the car just about as Bobby pulled in here. Before this race began, both Bobby Labonte and his crew chief, Jimmy Makar, said that their short track program had improved. Here's Makar now. Bobby, how did the short track program improve? Are you a better driver? Oh, yeah, I got to get a kiss from Donna. Are you a better driver, or have your cars gotten better, or is it both?
These cars have gotten a lot better. Well, I'll say a lot better. I think it's a combination of both. And, obviously, Tony Stewart and the Home Depot team, they're always really good on short tracks, so we feed off that, so that's really good. But, it's just wonderful. I mean, I won a race here a long time ago in a Busch car, and I never run good in a Cup car, it seemed like. But we've been inching on it, so thank goodness this little Pontiac did good today. I want to say hi to all the folks in Hawaii. Interstate Batteries are all in Hawaii, and they got a satellite put in the hotel room because they couldn't get FX at the hotel, so they'll have to change that for next year. But I want to say hello to them and thank them for everything. We had a bad weekend last weekend in their hometown, so picked up this weekend. But this Interstate Batteries Pontiac ran good. The guys had great pit stops all day. Goodyear tires were great. We had 2 tires on a long time. We had no tires there at the end, and the thing just hooked up there at the end. We worked on it all day. Jimmy and all the guys made good decisions on the pit stops, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm out of breath.
You are. Congratulations, Bobby Labonte. First ever short track win.
Hope he told those folks to call 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 as Terry Labonte congratulates his younger brother on his win today. We'll be right back.
Almost 10 races in there at the end. Tell us about that. It was. That's as hard as most races I've seen here. And congratulations to Bobby Labonte. What a great job he did. And it was fun racing. Everybody was beating and banging. And after our air race broke, we got the lap down. I didn't have any idea we could be racing for the win. But the guys did a great job. They got me back and they got the top 5. Tell us about the fun. The last 2/3 of the race, after you got that lap down, what you guys had to do to get back up? Well, we took the 4 tires there and jumped on the car, and we were able to make up a lot of racetrack. And then the guys made me some time up in the pits. We got 4 the next time. Then when we got 2, we got good practice. And the cars worked well with those 2 tires. Didn't even have quite enough there again. Billy and perseverance. Dale Jarrett comes home with good. Good place run. And again, we got 5. We met Kenseth, Tony Stewart. You know, I